going on, guys? Decided to just start this a little quick. No intro needed or anything else because we got massive, massive news to talk about today. What's absolutely fantastic is that everybody has already started getting kicked out of the FA. Maybe this is the time that real change may possibly be coming to Italy. I'm not completely convinced yet, but we will actually see. But let's get into it. Gravina, Buffon, and Bonucci have all walked away from the Italian national team. Gravina has resigned. There have been talk that the elections will be coming up. And there's two main candidates that we need to talk about here because it's massive, massive news of what's going on in Italy right now with everything going on. Gravina, nobody will miss you. As everybody who was here yesterday who saw my my rant for the first hour on the live stream yesterday, Gabriele Gravina has been a fucking cancer to the Italian national team, and everybody in Italy, while we're not going to the World Cup, we should be celebrating that piece of shit is out of the fucking FA because he has caused nothing but problems for this team. Now, there are two individuals that are linked with the job. There's Giancarlo Abete and there is Giovanni Malago. Me personally, and the reason why this election is massive is because you're looking at the difference of the managers that these guys are talking about hiring for the Italian national team. And big up to everybody in the chat that came over from Shane. I absolutely love the fact that you guys are saying it's a shine box raid. It's absolutely fucking classic. I love you guys for coming over here and saying that. Gattuso Hendon, he will be walking away. He knows that he's a dead man walking. His two boys, Bonucci and Buffon, are resigning before they can get fired or sacked. But Gattuso is no longer there. The three main names that are tied to the Italian national team right now, it's all going to depend on the election. Malago would like to bring back Roberto Mancini. Malago has stated that he liked the attitude that Mancini gave the FA. Abate is looking at it from the perspective of two other names. That is Massimiliano Allegri and possibly bringing back Antonio Conte. For me, I personally would like Mancini. If it's not Mancini, I would like to throw another name into the hat because he's going to leave Lazio at the end of the season, and he's been the one that's been the loudest voice about trying to change what's going on in Italy as a whole, as far as what goes on with the youth, and that's Maurizio Sarri. For me, I would prefer Sarri. I think Roberto Mancini, for me, I think Mancini would be the best option along with Sarri because they both understand that right now this Italian team cannot play that old school Catenaccio defensive mentality football, which is what will end up being tried to get deployed by Massimiliano Allegri and Antonio Conte. I think when you look at the total talent that's in Italy, it's more of an offensive talent that's there now than there is defensively. However, I would not be upset if Conte was brought back because Conte will give the mentality that's needed. However, for me, I just don't think Conte's style of play with what you've seen defensively, what he's tried to do defensively at Napoli in this season, in particular, especially with the injuries and what he did as far as player choices. For me, I don't really want to see Massimiliano Allegri at the helm. I just don't think the defensive mindset is going to work with this team again. We just saw what happened with Gattuso trying to play defensive and everything with all that bullshit. I honestly believe that you need to bring in either Sarri or Mancini in order to play the more offensive style of the game and actually get the best quality out of the players that you actually have at your disposal, if I'm being quite honest with you. Magically, the funny thing is that a lot of these quote-unquote influencers or people who are talking about the whole situation with Italy have gone very, very quiet about Gattuso. Yes, they said Gattuso. A lot of these people who are saying, oh, I don't know if you can blame Gattuso or sack Gattuso, a lot of them are staying quiet. A lot of them can't believe that the changes are already coming, and they already can't believe that the fact that they tried to defer some of the stuff away from Gattuso and blame the players for what happened in this situation. are not talking. Very interesting. Very interesting. They talk about how much they care about the Italian national team and everything else, but they're not willing to sit here and call out the nonsense with Gattuso. So for me, at the end of the day, I think it's absolute bullshit, and it shows that these people are not in here for the betterment of the Italian national team or the Italian league in general. They're here to make money. They're here for their views and everything else. They're not here to actually talk about the changes that need to be made. And I think it's an absolute fucking disgrace. But you know what? Fuck them. It is what it is. Their man is out. Their two guys that they love, and Buffon and Bonucci, are out. The biggest bum of them all, is out. So it is what it is. Now, for me, let's not get this twisted. It's an absolute fantastic thing that these four guys are getting kicked out of the FA, but more needs to be done. It's not just these four that need to go. The people that run the bureaucratic bullshit, the other 55 members of the FA, they all need to go. Because what could potentially happen is the same thing that happened with Gravina, is you bring these guys in, you bring in a new manager, you bring in a new president of the FA. But at the same time, for me, I just think at the end of the day, I would not be shocked if it becomes business as usual. And that's what I'm worried about. We need to rip out all this shit. We need to rip out all these idiots out of the FA. They don't deserve to stay here. We need to focus on the youth, and we need to get rid of the bullshit and bridge the gap between the politics and the actual Serie A in order for these guys to bring the Serie A into the 2000s. The biggest problem with Italy is that we're still stuck in the 90s. These old greaseballs think that they're just going to be able to magically bring the 90s back to Italy and everything will go back to type. It's not happening. You need to step into the 21st century and step out of your comfort zone with what's going on in Italy. And I think it's an absolute fantastic start that the top four guys that are tied to this FA are already resigning because they know that they fucked up and there's nowhere to hide. So it is what it is. Big up Dr. Seymour. Big up Miss Melina. Big up Gunnar SC. Big up Antonio Unique. Barella hype. No, he was just tired, but it is what it is. Big up AJ. Big up everybody in the chat that came over. I will be dropping the link here in a couple minutes. Big up Javi. Big up Hendon Gunnar. Big up Topside. For me, like I said, Miss Melina, for me, my ideal person is actually Sadi. I like Roberto Mancini. I think Mancini would be a fantastic reappointment to bring him back. However, for me, Sadi is the one who has been talking about we need to get the youth going in Italy, and we need to allow the youth to flourish more and get more playing time. And I think Sadi, the fact that he has been talking about this for so long, has put his neck on the line for so long to go against the grain of the Italian politics and everything else. I think that he is the guy that you need to bring in. I'm an Arsenal fan and a Napoli fan. Napoli first. Arsenal is my team in England. I've been supporting Arsenal for 20 years, Napoli since birth, Oriano, but Napoli will always be number one for me. But Arsenal is my team in England. Yeah, Italian football is being left behind by the other athletics, 100%, because the other athletics don't have the bullshit going into it like the FA does. And that's the key thing here. And this is why I said you have quality players at the young age. Again, as I said last night, it's not like Italy doesn't have quality players. Yes, we don't have the Maldinis, the Nestas, the Del Pieros, the Tottis, all the greats that we used to have. But the problem is that you have decent talent. They're just being pushed away because of the continual bureaucratic bullshit that goes into this national team. And again, this has been going on for much longer than what people have been talking about. Majority of these people who claim that they're Italian or claim that they have that they love Italian football and everything else, they're not talking about the stuff that I was talking about last night. They're not talking about the segregation and the discrimination against the Southern players. They're not talking about everything going back up to 2010 because, funny enough, majority of them are Juventus fans. And a lot of them won't talk about what happened in 2010 with Lepi and the whole bullshit squad that he selected, because at the end of the day, it shows the hypocrisy that goes along with their team. And again, it is what it is. I'm a Cal. Listen, if you put a gun in my head, I'm never rooting for Juventus. I'm always rooting for Inter. If Napoli can't win the Scudetto, I'm rooting for Inter. I'll never root for Juventus or Milan. So it is what it is. No, they don't have a crazy team. But again, if you look at the players, if you actually look at Italy's best players, not the political side of it, of who got in and who didn't, but the actual best players, Italy has a good team. Again, France, Spain, Portugal, and maybe England are the only 4 teams in Europe that you could argue, well, definitely Portugal, Spain, and Italy are definitely Portugal, Spain, and France are better than Italy. However, when you look at the situation with England, England's players are good, but a lot of England's players are out of form. So maybe in a one-off game, if you sent the best team from Italy, you may be able to beat England. However, I don't know. But those 4 teams, as far as in Europe, are the only 4 teams that are better than Italy, in my personal opinion. And again, it shows how much of a fucking disgrace it is that we have not qualified for a World Cup again. And the fact that at the end of the day, that when you look at it, we should be able to we should be able to qualify. No, listen, AC Milan, I respect. Juve, I'll never respect them. It is what it is. It's just our biggest rival, so I will never go for Juve. If you had to stick a gun to my head and say who you picking, I will choose AC Milan over Juventus. But Inter, if it comes down to the big 3 up north, I'll always root for Inter over the other 2 for me. But yeah, it is what it is. And like I was saying towards the end of Shane's show, the other reason why this is massive news is because there has been some rumblings going around in Napoli that it's almost pretty much confirmed that Antonio Conte will be leaving Napoli at the end of the season. And for me, it's absolutely necessary as well, because Conte has failed this season. The only way Conte is not going to leave Napoli is if a miraculous situation happens this season to where Inter blows it again and Napoli wins, beats AC Milan to jump over them, and eventually could overtake Inter in first place for the Scudetto run this year. And if that's the case, it'd be an absolute madness if Napoli were able to come from behind and be the first team to break the cycle of winning back-to-back Scudettos. And the fact that it would be an absolutely biggest meltdown in Serie A history that Napoli, of all teams, the teams that majority of the northern teams hate, the teams that the overall FA does not like because we represent the south of Italy, if Napoli was able to pull off not only back-to-back Scudettos, but 3 Scudettos in 4 years, it would be an absolute fucking meltdown in the north of Italy. But it would be an absolute party. They probably shut down Napoli for 2 weeks. Nobody would have to go to work. Everybody would just be drinking and getting crazy for 2 weeks if Napoli was able to win back-to-back Scudettos, because it's unheard of that one of the smaller teams would be able to pull that off. The problem is this, Javi. The problem with Conte is this. Is he a serial winner? Yes, he won 3 straight Scudettos with Juventus. However, the problem is that his three straight Scudettos with Juventus was at a time when the Serie A was in absolute shambles. It was the weakest point in Serie A history. Whether Juventus fans like to admit that or not, it is what it is. Juve, and even the fact of how Juventus were able to get the money together fast enough after they were relegated and everything else, for them to be able to get the money together as fast as they did was absolute bullshit too. So it is what it is with that. Conte won his 3 Scudettos in a row with them. But when you look at everything else that happened, that's happened with Conte, he came in, he took over Inter, couldn't get Inter over the line in his first season. He dropped Inter out of the Champions League in the group stages, which is what eventually got him to go on to win with Inter, even though once again he failed miserably in Europe. And then when you look at the situation from Spurs, and yes, he won the league with Chelsea. Conte's most impressive title victory, in my personal opinion, is with Napoli. And I'm not saying that because I'm a Neapolitan. I'm saying that under the circumstances, when you look at the fact that Napoli won, especially selling Varashelia halfway through the season and sending Victor Osimhen on loan to avoid selling him to Juventus, and then you look at the ragtags that we basically signed from different teams just to put a a complete 23-man roster together to get through the season. That was the most impressive Scudetto win that I've ever seen from Conte, in my personal opinion. Again, Juve magically produced a couple $100 million after they lost so much, after they were supposed to lose so much money, but the FA allowed them to keep the money when they got sent down to City B with all the players that they sold when the game fixing scandal came out. They magically produced so much money to start buying players left, right, and center. And because of the rules of FFP, causing AC Milan to sell players, causing Inter to sell players as well, with everything that went on leading up to Juventus starting that 9-year run. So the first three Scudettos that Juventus won because the Serie A was so fucking terrible. If you look at the latter stages of the Scudettos that Allegri won with Juventus, those were much more impressive. But however, as we talked on one of the other streams that I did, there's been rumors of game fixing scandals that went on during those seasons under Allegri with Juventus. And at the end of the day, whether they like it or not, Juventus decided, especially with the Prisma situation, where Juventus was cooking the books and lying about the transfer money to keep more money in the tank for them to keep building up these players with all the crazy stuff they were doing. They decided to settle, miss out on Europe for a year, take the financial hit so that there wouldn't be any more investigations into them game fixing, because there was talk that they were game fixing the year that Rome came in second and then the immediate following year when Napoli came in second. So it is what it is. It's just an ongoing problem. But to get to Napoli, listen, this is the big thing. The biggest game of the season right now for Napoli is this game at the weekend. We are playing AC Milan. This is going to basically determine where we will end up landing in the season, if we will finish second or if we will finish third. It's a massive game on Monday. It's the 1:45 game at Monday, and Napoli is also at home. Now, the big thing for Napoli is Zambo Anguissa and Lobotka should both be healthy, ready to go for this game. Same thing with Kevin De Bruyne. However, we have a massive situation going on with Romelu Lukaku, that Lukaku has yet to return to Napoli. There's talk of actions being taken against Romelu Lukaku, and that most likely, as I said, from making appearances on Shane's channel and other people's channel talking about Napoli, there's been rumors swirling around since the beginning of the season when Lukaku got hurt that he wants to try to get out of Napoli and wants to return to Belgium and play for his boyhood club, RSC Anderlecht. So there's a situation going on with Lukaku right now that he wants to get out of Italy. He wants to go back to Belgium. He wants to be home, closer to his family. Again, it's a shame with what's happened with him, his father passing away, and I understand he's grieving and everything else. But, listen, everybody grieves different. Everybody grieves differently when it comes to loss, especially with a parent loss. When I lost my stepfather a couple of years ago, I took it really hard, and it's taken me a while for me to be able to get over that. And again, with Romelu Lukaku, there's a part of me that's upset that he's going about it this way, but there's a part of me that understands it because, like I said, everybody deals with loss of loved ones differently. We're all different people at the end of the day. You can't tell somebody how to grieve and everything else. However, as a professional, when you look at it from the professional situations from there, it is what it is. Hopefully, there will be a mutual understanding between Lukaku and Napoli to where there won't be any shenanigans pulled by Aurelio De Laurentiis like he did with Victor Osimhen. I do not want to see stupid shit like that happening again with this entire scenario. I want Romelu Lukaku. Listen, do I like what you're doing? Not really. Again, I understand that you're hurting. You lost your father. And I can't stress it enough that everybody else, it's a situation where you don't know how it goes when it comes to the way people grieve. I just hope that it's a mutual thing. And listen, I'm not going to hate you like that, Lukaku. You and Scott McTominay were the two guys that put the team on your back and dragged us to the Scudetto last year. And for me, it's not like you're trying to leave Napoli to go to Rome or you're trying to go to Juventus or anything else like that. If the rumors are true that you want to go back to Belgium, you want to be close to home, you want to be closer to your family, in the situation that you're in because your father passed away, I commend you for doing that. I commend you for doing that. It is what it is when it comes to that. I'm not going to talk crazy about you and everything else because, again, somebody losing a parent, it can cause a lot of bad shit mentally and everything else for someone. So it is what it is. It is what it is. I'm not gonna take it to the extreme with you. But however, listen, this game against Milan is an absolute must win. If we draw the game with AC Milan, for me, it's pretty much a scenario where you have to go through and just accept the fact that you're finishing in third. We're at home. We lost a close 1-0 to AC Milan where we didn't have all of our guys. For me, I think Napoli should be the favorite coming into this. However, Milan has been stumbling a little bit here and there recently. They were at one loss the entire season. They've lost 2. They've drawn a couple games. Yes, Inter has been stalling out to why they have not taken full advantage of what's been going on. However, listen, Napoli, you have to get the job done. If we want to put pressure on Inter Milan like we did last year, we need to put pressure on them and we need to win. And Inter Milan does not have an easy schedule going towards the end of the season. Now, the only thing that worries me with Napoli is if it's known that Antonio Conte is leaving, I'm wondering if this will affect the team in a negative way. I don't know how many players are really that crazy about Antonio Conte, in my personal opinion. However, it is what it is with that. It's a must-win game. If we beat AC Milan, we will go 2 points clear of them. And depending on the situation with Inter, Inter is a massive game against Rome. And it's not an easy game for Inter either because Roma is fighting for that 4th spot for the Champions League. Como has a 3-point lead over Juventus and Roma. They also, the outside chance is Atalanta, although I highly doubt that Como will be dropping points, will drop that many points for Atalanta to come back into it. But however, Atalanta is in a fight with Juventus and Roma for the Europa League spots as well. So it's making for a great end to the season again with the Serie A. The Serie A once again heating up, and it's a serious situation. It's a serious situation that once again the Serie A will have a crazy end to the season. So we can say what we want about the Serie A not living up to the expectations of what it is, but as far as entertainment, it always provides it when you look at the end of the season. If Inter bottles it again, I mean, listen, man. There's already talk that Bastoni's leaving. There's talk that Di Marco's leaving. There's talk that Barella's leaving. There's talk that Marotta is going to go through a massive overhaul and go with a youth project at Inter. So for me, I think that when you look at it from that perspective, Inter is very much teetering on what's going on. And I do believe that if Inter lose to Rome, if Inter loses at home to Rome, and whether Napoli or Milan win, Inter could potentially crumble again with 7 games left and could potentially mean that a Scudetto is coming to either Milan, which would then mean that Milan ties Inter for the second most Scudettos in Italy, or Napoli does the unthinkable and wins back-to-back. It would be the first ever Southern team to win back-to-back Scudettos, and it would be the first ever Southern team to win 3 Scudettos in 4 years, and it would show, I mean, what it would do for Napoli would be absolutely unheard of. For a club to come from 21 years ago being bankrupt to even be in this position, we've won 7 trophies in 21 years. It's the most successful time period that Napoli has had since the Diego Maradona period. And if we somehow were able to win 3 Scudettos in 4 years, I mean, Aurelio De Laurentiis, the city of Napoli should build a statue just for you being the president, for you resurrecting this club and bringing them to the level that they are at right now. It would be absolutely unbelievable. But if you look at, and for what it would do financially for Napoli, it would put us on a different level because Romelu Lukaku, if you leave, he's the second highest paid player on the team. In my personal opinion, if you win the Scudetto, get the Scudetto and send out Kevin De Bruyne, send out Matteo Politano. They're 3. Politano is the 4th highest paid player on the team. If you can get rid of 3 out of the 4 highest paid players onto the team coming into this season with Scudetto money, with the massive amounts of money that comes from the first place position for the Champions League. Napoli could do an easy pivot and continue pushing forward to possibly creating an even larger dominant period. I mean, let's be honest here. If Napoli was to win 3 Scudettes in 4 years, you would have to call it a Southern dynasty, because the difference of money capabilities that Napoli has, the less amount of money that we have compared to Inter or Milan or Juve or even Rome for that matter, is absolutely massive. And it would show for a lot of talent that wants to get to a high level before maybe moving on to the Premier League or one of the bigger teams in Spain as well, that Napoli is a destination where you can not only play to enhance your skills, but it's a team that is seriously taking advantage of the position that we're in, and that we are a contender and possibly trying to build a large-scale dynasty in Italy, which would be absolutely unbelievable. And it would be absolutely massive for the city to be able to do that as well. So, listen, this game against Milan, it's a must-win. If we draw with Milan and Inter goes on to beat Rome, they would go back to 9. They would go to 8 points clear on AC Milan and 9 points clear of Napoli. I think if that was to be the case, if we draw Milan and Inter goes on to win, I think Inter has pretty much showed that they will win the Scudetto. But that's how big this weekend is. This could be the most pivotal weekend in the Scudetto race this year with how everything's been going. It's going to be absolute madness. The scenes in Milan for Inter Rome is going to be insanity. They have a massive rivalry between Rome and Inter, especially because of the amount of close calls that Rome had against Inter throughout the 2000s. So for me, I think this is going to be an absolutely massive weekend. If I had to make a prediction with the current state of things, I think Napoli squeak out a 1-0 victory. However, I would not be surprised if we drew or if we even lost the game, because both Napoli and Milan are good for dropping points. And I don't know at this current point in time, waiting to see what the situation is with people returning from the international break, who's completely healthy and who's ready to go. For me, listen, the big thing for us is that Christian Pulisic is on a goal drought, not only for the U.S. men's national team, but also for AC Milan. He has not been playing up to the same level that he was last season for AC Milan. Rafael Leao, yes, he has 9 goals, but his performances have been hit or miss. The main guy really for Milan this year, it's been down to 2 people. It's been down to a couple, but the 2 main ones has been Luka Modric and Adrian Rabiot for the big performances this season for Milan consistently. So for me, it's going to be a massive weekend. We will be. It's just going to be a massive weekend, man. Massive weekend, massive game Monday. And it's really going to set up for a crazy title race and the end of the title race for Italy right now. And I just think that, for everything that's just happened with missing out on the World Cup, you need a little bit more entertainment to grab the eyes of everybody for the Serie A right now, because we are producing a lot of entertainment right now with how the season is going. Arsenal, listen, there's a lot of stuff going on with the injuries. There's a lot of talk right now that we don't have enough players. There's a lot of talk of who do you rotate, if you rotate, and all this other stuff. We're going to get into it with Arsenal. We are going to get into it with Arsenal. I'm going to put the link in the chat. Anybody who wants to hop on is welcome to hop on. I will pin it here in 1 sec. Just give me. There we go. Big up, AJ. Appreciate everybody who likes. Appreciate everybody who subscribes. It really means a lot. But yeah, man, I mean, look, going forward, to stick with Napoli here for a little bit, going forward, I'm really hoping that this is a situation where if we pull off the Scudetto, it would be absolutely monumental, because it makes a pivot of signing some new players absolutely massive. And the other thing is, it's not only about signing new players, it's also about bringing some other players back into the fold. The only negative thing for me, that if Roberto Mancini, and this is me being selfish, But if Roberto Mancini does get hired again by the Italian national team, it would hurt a little bit, because for me, Mancini is the guy that I want to take over Napoli from Antonio Conte. He's the one that's going to continue he's the one with the mentality that will continue the success at Napoli if he was given the job. Now, the other guy that I was talking about potentially taking over Napoli is Roberto De Zerbi. However, we all know De Zerbi went to to Spurs, so it is what it is. Jason, listen, brother. You being an Inter fan, you should know this. Napoli and Inter, we get along because we both can't stand Milan and Juve. So if it's not us, I'd rather you win. I don't want to see the Scudetto going back to the Rossoneri. I don't want to see that shit. So at the end of the day, I want to see us winning. I want to see us winning, but I will deal with you guys getting 21 as long as it means that Milan won't win. Paisan, come stai?
Tutto a posto, hai visto?
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it.
The thing that Johnny, first of all, thank you for having me on the channel, and salute to the panel as well. I'm in a way I'm happy, but in a way I'm pissed off, and I'll tell you why. Because it's taken 3 World Cups in a row for this to happen. This should have happened years ago, Johnny. Anni fa. Why? So let me tell you something. So basically, if we went to the World Cup, we would have got embarrassed anyway, because we're trash, right? So the thing, if we went to the World Cup, and say for example, if we got embarrassed, would Gattuso would have stayed on? Maybe would have been sacked, but would have Gravina left? That's the question. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a shame, but the thing, there's a silver lining. So now what we need is a big, hey there, man. What we need now is a big, massive reset, Johnny, and it's going to take time. So we have to be patient. As I said, Nablu, by Jins get them more. You know what I mean? So the film, it's going to take time, but what we need to do is get Serie A sorted out. The youth as well, and everything else in between. And like you said, we need to choose the right people to get in charge of the federation. Because I know there's rumors about Maldini, and I know you may be pissed off this same Baggio. They're saying that. But yeah, we need to choose the right manager. So we need a massive reset, John. They say it's going to take time, but it's a consolation. But it's taken 3 World Cups in a row to get to this point, and that is a sad indictment.
Yeah, it is. Listen, if Maldini's the guy that I personally think Maldini should be walking into the FA. I would love Maldini to be walking in as one of the guys that's standing around whoever they're going to vote for the president, because he's not going to fuck around either. Again, listen, my personal opinion, the whole reason why AC Milan has not ascended back to the level that they should have been is because the ownership got cheap and they did not allow Ricky Massara and Maldini to get more money to add more quality players to Milan. Had Milan properly invested into the team, if Milan had properly invested into the team the year after they won the Scudetto, Milan could have potentially became a powerhouse in Italy again and probably had some dominance because of how wide open the Serie A has been for the last few years. Listen, Inter Milan, let's be honest here. Inter Milan had that 1 year because everybody was shit when they ran away with the league. AC Milan, the fact that they won that Scudetto was ridiculous because, again, Napoli bottled it and Inter bottled it that year that led to Milan. And the fact that Milan was able to stay consistent, go on to win, right then and there, they should have been invested in. Whether you like Pioli or not, they should have invested in him immediately because he guided them through the landmines and got them to the Scudetto. He should have been invested in, got at least 3 to 4 more players, which then it could have led to Milan possibly doing what Napoli could potentially be doing and being on the precipice of. I mean, listen, you know this as well as I do being Neapolitan. You could talk to any generation of Neapolitans. Nobody would have ever fucking thought that they'd see the day of possibility of 3 Scudettos in 4 years. Nobody thought that you'd ever see the day of winning 2 Scudettos in 3 years, let alone us knowing what the situation was with Maradona selling the second Scudetto to Milan the following year. But that's neither here nor there. the thing is, at the end of the day, if Inter bottles this is how massive this could be. If Inter bottles this Scudetto and Napoli jump Milan and we go on to win, it's a period that should be considered a Southern dynasty because no other Southern team would have done this. We would have hit the same tally of Scudettos that Lazio has in their history in 4 fucking years, which nobody thought that would ever be possible. And the bigger thing is, and again, this is funny to bring in to talk about Arsenal with how we feel about how Arsenal's been run. In 21 years, the same amount of time that the drought has been for the league title to come back to Arsenal, Napoli, if they win, it'll be 8 major titles in 21 years. It'll be more than what Arsenal's done. And it's not only that, it's coming from where we came from. You know, the ultra positive, blindsided, Arteta can never do any wrong in their minds, fans. What would you say to a team that's been bankrupt 21 years ago from the last time we won the league to now winning 8 major titles in the same amount of time?
We were in the wilderness, Johnny.
Bro, we got sent to, and this is what I mean. For those that don't know, we got sent to City of Chi. We were bankrupt. The name had to change. For all those who love FIFA, the couple of years that Napoli did not have the logo and everything in when we were called Napoli FC, that was the name that we had to change to for one season because of the politics in Italy. Not only that, here's the difference, again, to go off of what we were saying last night. Juventus got caught game fixing for 3 years, right? They were picking the referees to play in specific games. That's what really happened behind the scenes, whether they'll ever admit it or not. But they were allowed to keep all their money. They were allowed to keep all the money from the players they sold. When you look at when they let go of Vieira, Emerson, Ibrahimovic, Thuram, Cannavaro, all the big money that they made, they were able to keep the money. Napoli had to sell players, and the FA took all the money.
Yeah.
That's the difference. And we're not the same size as Juventus, which is why I was saying, you know, Conte, as decorated as he is as a manager, he won the 3 Scudettos at Juventus when Juventus had all the money and nobody else had any fucking money. So, and that's why I said for me, and I'm not saying this because I'm a Napoli fan, Conte's most impressive title win, it's a debate between Chelsea and Napoli. It's not Inter. It's not any of the ones from Juventus. It's between Chelsea and Napoli. But for me, it's an absolute massive situation. Before we move on to Arsenal, Antonio, I just want to ask you, obviously, we know right now the 2 guys, we have Abete and Milagro, if I'm saying his name right. I completely spaced on this guy's name. But who out of the 3 candidates that they're talking about between Mancini, Allegri, and Conte, who would you choose for the national team? Or are you with me that I would throw Sadi's name into the hat as well to potentially take over the national team? Who would you choose?
I don't think I would want Conte because I know he's good managed, but I can't rely on the guy. I don't think nobody can. Plus, he doesn't stick around for long. Allegri, I know he's done well for a club level, but for the national team, I'm not sure. Mancini has done it already with the European Cup win. You mentioned Sarri as well. He's another one. But if I had to pick out Mancini, Allegri, and Conte, I'll go back to Mancini because, as you mentioned yesterday, Johnny, he's one who doesn't give a toss. He's in your face kind of guy. Even as a football player at Sampdoria, do you know how mouthy he was?
Oh yeah. Remember how mouthy he was as a coach at Inter?
Yeah,
he was mouthy as a coach with Inter. He will bring the old school grip back, but here's the thing, Mark, and I hear it, but here's the problem that I have with that. We don't have those same type of players anymore. If you look at Italy's best players, yes, you could argue Bastoni is the best player right now for Italy. If we go off of normality, yes, he's having a bad season this year at Inter. And you could maybe say Donnarumma is number 2. After that, DiMarco is not really a great defender. He's more of a forward-thinking wingback or potentially a forward-thinking fullback. Our best players are more of the offensive players, which is why, for me, I think it has to come down to either Mancini or it has to come down to either Mancini or Sarri. The reason why I back Sarri is Sarri will 100% not stand for the bullshit anymore about limiting the youth. He's been outspoken since he first got the job at Empoli when it came to talking about Italy needs to change the trajectory of what we're doing and needs to get more young players into these teams and getting them more playing time. Because again, you look at what's going on for England, the amount of young talent that's propped up all over the place for England. They're invested in the youth. Same thing with the French. The same thing of what we saw from Germany. Big up, Rob.
Spain as well.
The same thing that we saw with Germany and Spain. These schools. When you look at Clairefontaine and you look at the Barcelona school and everything else, they invest in the youth. Italy needs to change and go down that route. And for me, Sarri is the best man for the job with that, because you're seeing what he's doing against the odds with that fucking idiot of an owner in Lotito at Lazio. He's being, his best players are being ripped out from underneath him and being sold, and he's being given youth. He's got Daniele Maldini looking like one of the best false nines in fucking Italy right now with Lazio. So for me, and again, he has been a huge reason why Matteo Guendouzi has turned into one of the best midfielders in Italy. Now, obviously gone to Fenerbahce, but he has been responsible for the growth and the development of Matteo Guendouzi. And someone else as well who should have been on the national team this year is Nicolo Rovella. He's one of the best defensive midfielders in Italy. He's only 23, and again, because of Sarri. So for me, I think that Sarri for me might be the guy. But if it's not him, it's got to be Mancini. Views.
And
my
also,
guy,
Johnny as well. You know, if Mancini does take over again, he will bring back the likes of Berardi, Orsolini, and even the Rovella as well. He'll bring these players in.
Correct.
Pellegrini as well. He'll bring in.
What's that, man?
He'll bring in Pellegrini.
Yeah.
And here's the funny thing with that. They only have the Euros left. The Euros, for me, you need to put the best team out there for the Euros. As soon as the Euros is over, all these older guys can no longer be called to the national team.
Yeah.
You have to risk going through the playoffs again in 2 years after the Euros for the World Cup, but you need to do it with the youth. The youth now needs to be given the time for them to be able to go on and go and play and prove themselves. You're starting to see it with other players. Raspadori will be there. The kid Coyote, who's been a very good right back at Brentford this season, will end up getting the job after Di Lorenzo. When you look at Rovella, when you look at Daniele Maldini, when you look at some of the other players that have popped up, you have a situation right now growing within Italy where there still is some young talent that will be around for guys to be able to play coming up for the World Cup, and you need to harness that talent. So for me, the likes of the older guys, give them an opportunity give them the opportunity at the Euros, go full blown at the Euros, try to win it. And then after the Euros is over, no matter what ends up happening, you need to move all them on. Thank you for your time at Italy. We're sorry for some of the guys that got fucked out of appearances, but we need to bring in the youth. The youth from now on needs to be the guys getting played. And that is the biggest key to this situation right now.
Also, John, as well, the thing that's a shame is that the players that were left out by Gattuso, by the time that happens, they're getting on as well. And that's a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Do you know what you guys need? You mentioned it earlier with like Barca, for example, La Masia. With what Maurizio Sarri, what he does, we all know how he plays. You know, even before he went to Chelsea, even I knew. Like, I rated it. I'm not going to lie. It was very specific with the
Napoli.
with Regista, with Jorginho when he was at Napoli before he went to Chelsea and that. And then when he went to Chelsea, you saw he bought Jorginho and you saw how it worked and they won the Europa League, right? If you have like a La Masia, I don't know what you guys would call it, like in Italy, it might not even just be one, but you'd have like, there would obviously be one in the north, but you need to have like one in the south and then just build it from there. And truth be told, like, because I know like Buffon and all that, Bonucci stepped down. Like, you need to start bringing in people that actually care and don't give a fuck about the politics. Do you know what I'm saying? because this is a disgrace. You mentioned England, like how after '08, and I got it wrong last time in the last stream, is on Rashid's stream. Big up, Rob, you were there as well. When I said like the last time we didn't qualify for World Cup was in the '70s. It was actually '94. It was actually '94. But when we didn't qualify in '08, we were already starting to implement slowly but surely. Bringing in the youth. Making the facilities better. Technically training our players like for the next generation. And here we are. We easily qualify. And to be honest, with the youth, you guys, I'm gonna say this, right? It's a bold statement, but you know me. If you go with the youth, I don't think you'll need to go through the playoff. I think if you trust the youth and you play who needs to be played, pick who needs to be picked, you got the right manager. It doesn't even need to be the best or the greatest that you've got in Italy or elsewhere, whatever the case may be. You guys should qualify automatically, like we do. We ain't nothing special.
We used to
for years. Yeah,
and we have good youth already. If you look at who's projected, right? And again, the reason why I go with Mancini is because Mancini's going to play a little bit forward thinking with the number 10. Sadi likes to have that more deep lying 10 like Zielinski. But if you look at the players that are already there, you got Samuele Ricci at AC Milan, who's a very good, young, and promising defensive midfielder. You have Rovella. Those two will most likely be the future partnership in the midfield for Italy. You have Palestra. You have Coyote. You have Bellanova. You have Raspadori will still be there. You have Esposito. You have a decent little foundation to start with. You also have, as Mark said, you have the young kid, I'm forgetting his name, that's at Manchester United that they scouted. And you have the young kid that was scouted by Liverpool as well, the young center back. You still have Scalvini as well. So you have a crop of young talent that's there that can be the future for Italy already there. It's now just finding the rest of the players and giving them a proper Biancheri. That's it, Biancheri. You have a young crop of players that you could potentially build around for the future as long as you have the proper manager that's going to be allowed to do it. Now, listen here. For me, if Sadi doesn't get the job and you want Mancini to be the manager, I would put Sadi into the FA and make him responsible for the development of youth across the board. He should be the head of the development side of the youth because, again, he's the one that's been showing that he wants to do that, and that's been his job. If you ask Sadi, listen, for me, I would love Sadi to go to Napoli again because for him to right the wrong of 2017, 2018. But at the same time, if he doesn't, I wouldn't be upset. But I think he should be given one of the biggest jobs in Italy. Either you give him the national team job or he's your main guy that's going to run the schooling to now develop the youth for everything that's going to be. Because whether anybody likes Sadi or not, I know the English media doesn't like him for whatever, for all the bullshit that went on at Chelsea at his time. But if you look at what's been happening at Lazio has one of the best defenses in Italy. I know people try to say, oh, Sadi style of play, they don't play good defense. Lazio's been one of the best defenses in Italy the entire time he's been the manager. And offensively, he gets the best out of his players. Jose Callejon, everybody said was going to be a failed wonder kid at Real Madrid. He didn't work out in Madrid, but he was a fucking baller at Napoli. When you look at Insigne, Napoli almost sold Insigne. Sadi said, give me him. He took him, made him a starter from where he was a bench player under Rafa Benitez. Insigne was the best left winger in Italy for how many years? So Sadi has the track record of, and you've seen it now again with Lazio. He got Lazio in the second place when they had no business being in second place the season that Napoli won the first Scudetto. So for me, I think if Sadi doesn't get the national team job, you need to go down the route. You need to go down the route of making him the head of the development for all the younger players. So I think it's a massive, massive situation right now of what's going on. Me personally, Malago is the guy that needs to be voted in as the president because he's the one that's going to understand the youth more. I'm afraid if it's Abete who becomes the president, it's going to be just the same old shit again. He'll bring Conte, he'll bring Allegri. We're going to go down the same path of this defensive bullshit because funny enough, Conte and Allegri both played the 3-5-2. Yeah. And I don't want to see that shit no more. No. We're done with that bullshit. From now on, either 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1. or hell, even go down the route that Spalletti did the one-off game where we scored a shit ton of goals. Go play 4-4-2 again.
Yeah,
do
play 4-4-2.
That's what I would do.
something more offensive.
Also, also as well, I'll say one more thing before you guys speak here. Johnny and Nat, you mentioned about the youth, absolutely. But the thing is, the youth players need to get top football experience.
Yep.
Now, I said to Johnny one evening when he had a live stream, and he remembers this. An example, there was an under-21s final, Spain versus Italy, where Spain thrashed us 4-2 in the final. It was 1-0 to Spain, 1-1 Immobile scored, and then Spain just went on. They just thrashed us. And the reason why, Nat, is because those Spanish players, a lot of them had Champions League experience. Or European experience as a whole. They play for Real Madrid, they play for Barcelona, they play for Atletico Madrid, etc., etc. While our players, Serie B team, I mean, maybe the 1 or 2 who play for top teams, but all the rest were like mid-teams or Serie B. That's the difference. We need to embed these youth players in top clubs to play top-level football. If we don't, rinse and repeat.
100%, I agree. Like, my thing is just very quickly, right? You know, the fact that we got Andrea Berta at Arsenal, I don't see why he doesn't do what Arsene Wenger did back in the day. Instead of going for the French market, go for the Italian market. Go for especially Neapolitans and all the other southern clubs in Italy. Go down that route, because then it will expose the bullshit that's been going on in football Italia for 20 years plus. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And not only with Berta, with Michele.
You get proper players in.
Not only with Berta, but Michele too. Again, I'd argue that Michele is, if not the best, top 3 best scouts in the world. Listen, Michele is part of the reason why Napoli is where they're at, because he's been able to scout players out for cheap money and flip for crazy amounts of money. Again, Vada is a perfect example. Michele was the first guy to spot Vada. Right after that, it was Arsenal. We got Vada for 10 million. We got Vada for 10 million euros. Arsenal decided to be cheap and not pay the 10 million. They wanted 7.5. We got Vada, and look what happened. We got Vada for two and a half seasons. We got him for 10 million. The books were paid off after 1 year, and we flipped him to PSG for 80. You know, the agreement was 65, but with the bonuses and everything that kicked in after they won the Champions League, we got Vada for 80 million. So, and that's just in 2.5 years that he's flipping that. And again, look at Kim Min-jae. We flipped Kim Min-jae in one season. We got Kim for 20 million euros from Fenerbahce. We sold him to Bayern Munich for 60. You know, that's the quality that he's been able to do. And he's done that for Italy he's been doing that for Italy, for Napoli for almost 20 years. Again, everybody said that Hamsik wasn't going to be good. He was the one that took the chance.
He was quality.
Hamsik, and everybody knows how good Hamsik was with Napoli. So, you know, he with the combination of Berta and Michele at Arsenal, I'm not worried about that as far as Arsenal is concerned.
Yeah. I think for me, it's just the manager. Just get rid of the manager.
And it's funny that we've gone to this, because we were talking about this on the Bruised Banana show, and shout out to Shane Gooner for letting me on the show again. The Bruised Banana is one of the best Arsenal shows.
Yeah, great show.
Let's go around the panel. What do you guys make of this injury situation, and how do you approach the FA Cup game this coming weekend on Saturday? Do you take a chance and put in the second 11? Because I said on Shane's show, this is why the League Cup was so important for us to win, was because in the great words of Trapattoni says throughout the season, you need to be able to you have to sometimes have how did he word it? An educated risk. It's an educated risk. Right now, for me, this FA Cup game is Arsenal's educated risk. I do not want to disrespect and come off saying that the FA Cup ain't worth it. It is worth it. For me, I don't understand why the positive side of the Arsenal fan base and why a lot of people in general just say the FA Cup isn't worth it. We got bigger fish to fry and all that shit. To me, listen, as a kid who watched City A, everybody still watched the FA Cup. Everybody in Italy would watch the FA Cup. The FA Cup is the most respected league cup in all of Europe, in my personal opinion, in all of the world for me.
Globally, yeah.
As much as we
globally.
100%.
love the Coppa Italia in Italy, the FA Cup was always shown to be bigger, and it proved itself to be bigger.
I'll give you.
Hey
guys, I'll give you an example. In 1987, I watched Tottenham Coventry. I think it was Tottenham Coventry. In Zimbabwe, Africa, everybody was gathered around the TV to watch the FA Cup final around the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in 87.
Well, yeah, Ronaldo said when he was a little kid that was like his favorite thing to watch was the FA Cup final.
100%.
And also Pele said he wanted to win that cup. One cup he wanted to win was that.
Yeah.
It's the oldest. It's the oldest cup in football history.
Yep.
Do you know?
Yeah.
I know you got the league title, but the FA Cup is the, it's the old lady of cups.
Yep.
Basically.
Yep. So for me, do you make is this the educated gamble for Arsenal? Do you do you put in a more of the rotation? Do you heavily rotate, or do you go with the starters, risking that we know so many guys are really hurt, even though so many morons on YouTube are trying to say that, oh, this is all for show, nobody's really hurt, everybody's okay, like they're trying to say. Is this the educated gamble, and you rest players so that you can go at Sporting Lisbon in the Champions League, or do you start the 11, risk injuries, and then restart the 11 against Sporting? Antonio, I'll start with you.
That's a very difficult question. I mean, what's the game that we have afterwards? How many days is it afterwards?
3 days.
We've got Bournemouth.
Yes, every 3 days now.
Every 3 days.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a big risk because I feel it depends. Like, it's like you said, Johnny, like all the injuries, who's fit and who's not, and also like it depends on like what the priorities will be for Arteta as well. But the FA Cup is absolutely a one of the best tournaments in the world. So yeah, I think it depends on the fitness. I would say go. It's Southampton away, but Southampton can be a bit of a tricky team. So maybe I will go for like a medium strong team if I'm making sense, depending on how the injuries are and depending on who's fit.
See, for me, I'm going a full change. I'm risking the game as much as I don't want to do it because of how much I respect the FA Cup. The problem is this: we got to win this fucking league. We got to win this league. These guys need rest. Yeah. Now all of a sudden there's talk coming out that Calafiori got hurt in the game against Bosnia with as many minutes as he played.
That's the sweet prince.
Every we all know is injured for at least a month, even though they're talking.
Not surprising it, that another injury for Calafiori.
He's a fucking scrub. He's a fucking scrub. That's why he's a fucking boss.
His head looks like Tarzan.
He is a bum, dude. They're 20. For all those who say that Americans can't ball, the kid that was slaughtering him on the right-hand side from Bosnia is from Wisconsin.
Yeah, he's a Midwest guy.
Yeah. He slaughtered Calafiori. So
I know.
For me, I'm doing a complete 11 change if I'm being quite honest with you.
Yeah, I would.
I'm doing a complete change, and I'm doing an educated risk because I'm sorry. As much as I love the FA Cup, if we somehow won the FA Cup but we bottled the league, you got to go. And again, no disrespect to Southampton, but we should be beating you even with our second 11. This is Arsenal. Yeah. This is the mentality that big clubs are supposed to have. So for me, I'm risking it. First of all, Norgard and Miles Lewis-Skelly needs to be the core of that midfield. I don't want to see this motherfucker playing left back. He's not a left back. He is not a left back whatsoever. I'm risking it, in my personal opinion. Jim, what's your opinion? Are you risking it, or do you say play the starters and see what happens?
I would rotate the squad because I really want to win the FA Cup because what happened in the League Cup final.
Mm-hmm.
We're not winning the Champions League. And, I would fully rotate
Oh,
You're the
It's
bottom.
frozen.
Like
Yeah, the
Cal
top two-
Brother, he's injured.
Yeah. Macy, what's your
We got to win. Sorry,
I
sorry.
mean, Gianni, I really want to win this FA Cup, but the thing is, this manager is a fucking piece of shit. He's gonna throw away that FA Cup the same way he threw that League Cup away. I mean, I really wanted us to win that League Cup because it's been 23 years since we've once held that trophy, and for that
33
fucking
years.
manager to throw it away, what?
33 years.
No, that's
33
the League Cup.
Yeah,
That's
33
33 years.
Wow,
33.
33 years we have once held the League Cup, and this manager has the audacity to throw it all away with him starting Kepa. And I'm worried that if he starts Kepa in goal again, then that could be a big, massive blow to us. So I do not want to see Kepa starting in goal.
Oh,
If
I
I'm
100% believe Kepa starting.
Oh,
I
he's
100%
finished.
believe
wow,
Kepa starting.
I'm worried now
Listen,
because
for how ignorant he was. Sorry to cut across, Macy, just really
yeah,
quick.
of course, Johnny,
How
go ahead.
ignorant he was in that interview 2 days after the League Cup final, and he goes,
I do it again.
I do it again. He goes, if I could go back, I'd do it all over again and put Kepa back in the net. I'm sorry.
And people wonder why we've just
Kepa's in the exact same situation as Odegaard. Them two should never fucking start for this damn team again. And that's what's even funnier is this motherfucker's talking about Odegaard's back. He's going to be great, blah, blah, blah. Fuck out of here.
Saviour, he's going to save us.
Yeah, and
By
of
the way,
course,
is Hincapi injured?
this
Yeah,
manager.
Nkapia got a hamstring injury on in the friendly that he was playing. Yep.
Oh, great.
This is exactly what we're talking about, Johnny, because every time this manager throws all these players out on international duty, we see exactly what will happen if they come back with an injury. So I'm worried now because if Nkapia gets injured, then who's going to cover in at left back? Not Skelly, because I will not start Skelly at left back, because if that kid starts at left back, then we're in deep trouble. So we need somebody else to take over as left back. But I don't know who we've got as our left back choice.
Macy, I know exactly what's going to happen. Ben White, right back, Timber, left back.
Oh,
Yeah, but is Timber actually going to start? Because we don't know whether or not he's 100%.
Yeah.
Well, that's the question.
He shouldn't be playing, though. He shouldn't be playing.
Yeah, because
He'll rush him back like all the other
Yeah.
managers.
Of course, this is what this manager does. And you know what? Another thing what this manager is going to do, guys, he's going to put Mosquera and Calafiori as his centre-back choice.
yeah.
The same way he did that against Mansfield, where them two got absolutely bodied around by some tall striker by the name of Reece Oates. Reece Oates was absolutely bodying the Mosquera and Calafiori up. So we're in for a bit of a pickle now if Calafiori and Mosquera start together again, because Saliba and Gabriel are still, we don't know whether or not they are going to be fit and ready to go. So I wouldn't be surprised if this manager starts Calafiori and Mosquera as his centre back partnership for the Southampton game. So for me, like, I think now I'm just not confident anymore because manager, I don't trust him because he threw the League Cup away, and if he throws that FA Cup, then that could be a huge indictment to our opportunities of winning the Premier League. Because for me, I really want to win a trophy because we have not won a single trophy since this manager won that FA Cup with a squad that he never won it with. That was Emery's team, and ever since then he is every summer he has gone on and he's built his own squad, and no matter how many times he has built his squad, not once he has got his hands on a trophy. So this is why he has got to start taking this trophy seriously, because if we throw this FA Cup away, then I don't know how this will affect on the players' mind on that opportunity of getting that Premier League title, because some of the players will be like their minds will be like they're still gonna think about that League Cup disaster. Yeah, so like I'm just a bit scared, guys.
Yeah,
Also, Macy, as well, what's going to happen is that, say for example, if we do lose out the FA Cup, all these top gooners, these muppets, will say, "Oh, we're going to have big fish to fry. We've got the Champions League, we've got the league." Look, asking for a treble, maybe a bit too much, especially with our squad now. But with over 1 billion spent, we're supposedly the best squad in Europe, the best manager in the world, the best coach. In that case, I want 2 trophies this season. One will not be enough for me. I said that many times. I want at least 2 trophies, minimum.
Yeah, of course.
I've said this as well. Like, the only way this manager stays is if he wins the Champions League, which ain't happening.
Yeah,
Of course.
That's the pure, facts of life. Like, for me, like, when it comes to the Southampton game, I know Kepa's going to start, but he should never be playing for this football club again. Like Nick and the Living God. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, both of them need to be drop kicked out of London Colney. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I will drive his ass. I'll get a car. I'll rent a car, whatever, and I'll drive his ass. Nick and the Living God.
I'll pay for the fare now. I'll give you the money.
Yeah, up to Bodo. I'll make that 9-hour trip, whatever. It will give me something to do and all of that. And then
Kepa starts out at Napoli, Nat, so he could see what standards are for a fucking club.
Yeah,
or the Yankees. See what the standards are like in baseball.
Gianni, he won't even last a day, man. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, what is his case? £1 billion to spend in the season, guys. This is not acceptable. It's embarrassing.
But Natster 29 is fit and ready to go after he scored against Ghana. Like, come on, man. That donkey, that German donkey can go fuck himself royally. Yeah, that goal against Ghana doesn't change nothing because you're still terrible.
The thing is, for me, like, when it comes to this game coming up on the weekend, I would make changes, but the only reason why I would make changes is because we need to keep our players as fit as possible for Bournemouth the following week. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
If you're not going to start,
exactly.
And Sporting. If you're not going to start David Raya, I'm not completely against that. But put Stepford or Setford in goal, whatever his name is. Put the third. I'd rather the third choice. I'd rather the third. Because if we're meant to be the best defensive team in the land, a third choice keeper with a Mosquera, bun Calafiore, bro. Like, get someone else in there. Put Nichols in there. Put Nichols in there. Put Salmon at right back. Do you know what I'm saying? Or even change it to a back 3. Because Lego Head has played a back 3 before that won us an FA Cup, his only trophy to date. So he has to change something. Norgard and Miles Lewis-Skelly, I don't know if it was you, mate, or it might have been you, Antonio. Like, I agree with that. Put them 2 in the middle of the park. We'll take it from there. Put the third choice in if you're not going to start David Raya. And what is it? We'll have... I'm not going to have Jesus up front. Put Jesus on the left and put Gyökeres up front or whatever, because there's not really much more we can do with that. Because I don't want Havertz starting. You know what I'm saying? I don't want Erdogan starting. Ebrieza's obviously out injured. Do you know what I'm saying? But again, this manager, even with a bulked up squad, has fucked it again. So basically, he's got the thin squad that he wanted by running these players into the fucking ground. It's the same old shit. And I'm tired of it. I'm fucking sick.
And these Muppets, Nat, they've got no excuse, these top gooners. No excuse.
No excuse.
Even Stricto as well.
If we just win the FA Cup, I don't want to hear, give him another year. Give him another year. What the fuck?
I want 2 trophies.
Blood fire.
Stricto as well.
Blood fire. Best believe that. Do you know what I'm saying? Get that Ross Clark, Bomber Clark, Pussy Clark out of there, bro. Out of there. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not hearing it. £1 billion spent. We're meant to be an elite level football club, a big football club, third biggest in the land, best team on the planet. Do you know what I'm saying? 1 league and/or 1 FA Cup is not acceptable.
No, so it's not enough.
3 trophies in the space of 7 seasons over 6 years. £1 billion spent. Nah. Hellfire, blood fire for his Bomber Clark. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not hearing it. I'm not hearing it anymore.
I agree.
Yeah, and Stricto has the audacity to call us bottom gooners. Like, why are you calling us bottom gooners?
I don't know what that
Stricto doesn't have the capacity to understand a lot of our
What
points.
exactly is
No idea what that is.
Idiotic.
I just don't know what exactly is a gooner. This is what I want to know.
Originally, it was a member of the firm, basically.
Yeah, to me,
Yeah,
the
Jez has
gooner,
explained it many times. Jez on his channel explained it. Yeah.
Yeah,
the gooner,
A
the
lot of these
double
people don't
O,
know that, but they're just trying to wind us up, sort of thing. Like,
I just,
they don't
And the
really have much
Muppets.
else, to be honest.
I just hate.
There's
Well,
an interesting question here put in by Suj. He goes, "Can you be classified as a big club if you've never won a European trophy or a league title?" For me, if you haven't won a league title at all, no.
No, yeah,
No.
Arsenal is still a big club, whether we like it or not. Arsenal, whether the haters like it or not. And speaking of the Godfather, big up Jez every single time. Big up Jez every single time.
They got
But
Jez.
for me, the difference of a big club is the standards. That's all of what makes a big club is the standards. If you allow stupidity to take over your club and cause you to not win, like what's gone on at Arsenal, whether people like to call it out or not, no, it can deter you to where you don't become a big club. And as I've said, part of the reason why football in general has gone downhill is because the big clubs are not operating like big clubs. Again, whether I like them or not, being a Napoli fan, and Antonio could speak to this as well, we know what a big club is because we watched Inter, we watched Juve, we watched Milan. We saw the standards that those three clubs set. That's how you move as a big club. Again, I use it all the time. Roberto Mancini won 7 trophies in 4 fucking years at Inter. 7 trophies in 4 years. They still told him, fuck off. It's not good enough. We want the Champions League as well.
Yeah.
Those are the standards of how a big club runs.
But that kind of, Jenny, that perfectly sums up, though. Like, that kind of demonstrates what the issue is with particularly Arsenal at the moment. Is there is this and I've said this before, there's this massive conflation between competing and success. Competing is not success. Just because we have gone from, finishing 8th, which he took us to, by the way, and then 8th again, which he did as well, by the way, and then to 5th. So that's 3 seasons that he took to get us back to 5th, that place that Emery had us. And by the way, we were only 5th because Granit Xhaka did a Xhaka thing and fouled Solly March against Brighton, and then Brighton equalised. We finished 2 points off 3rd in that season that Emery finished with us. And yet, we're told that there's like a massive, massive deterioration because of Emery, because of what happened with Wenger, and Arteta had to sort all that out. No, he created that. But regardless, anyway, there's this conflation between sort of like success and competing. And so the idea that we finished second, this is now viewed as success. And I guess people may kind of tie this in with the whole Wenger idea of like, finishing in top 4 as a trophy. Maybe, but I don't really think so. I just think that this club has become one thing this club is world class at is PR. And I think they have PR'd the hell out of everybody to induce them into this kind of like state of like, as long as we're competing, it's fine. I've seen this many times from Arteta fans when we've had these kind of like debates with them, that they say things like, well, I will keep him as long as we're competing, and they're very much reflective of the manager themselves. They're too cowardly to want to take the risk to get rid of him, to get to the promised land properly, to get to a title, get to a Champions League. They would rather kind of like just be, oh, well, do you know what? Well, if we keep Arteta, like he's proven that he can get us second. So that's kind of what we want to stay with. We don't want to risk, maybe we might drop to 3rd. But maybe we might win a Champions League. Maybe you will make memories. These people don't understand the memories. I have history of, celebrating winning the league, celebrating winning a Cup Winners' Cup way back when, and celebrating winning like loads of FA Cups. So, once you've had that, it's like Shane once said to me, it's like trophies don't matter to these people, but as soon as he wins more of them, you best believe those trophies will matter because they will use that. Like we've used that as a way of saying, look, he's not won enough trophies to stay at Arsenal. As soon as he wins a couple of things, he's got to stay now because he's won trophies.
Listen,
not only the PR is sentiments, PR and sentiments.
Yep. And I'll be honest with you with this real quick, Matt.
Yeah.
If Arteta pulled off a double, you can give him a contract extension. It's just, again, it's how you move on from here. Listen, he's going to get the contract extension because I still think we're going to win the league because I think City still has a couple mistakes in them. I still think we're winning the league. However, it's a situation of how do you move on from here? If you win the league here, right? You win the league next year. Let's say it's what we've seen to where maybe you get hit with injuries. Arsenal doesn't win the league next year, but let's say he's got us still in the top 3, but he wins an FA Cup, has us get back to a semifinal in the Champions League again. Like if he gets 3 straight years in the Champions League semifinal, he gets us an FA Cup and he wins, let's say he wins the domestic cup double. I'd keep him. You can get another year after that. For me, I'm fine with that because you're at least keeping the standards of trophies every single year. The thing is for me is the standard has to be once you have big up the Godfather.
Is it Jez? Oh, Jez.
Big up, Jez.
What's Barbara Jez?
Once we've gotten over the line of winning the league, it's then the standard has to be every single year. Now the competing mentality has to be done. You have to continue winning.
Talking of which, Gianni, Antonio, I want to ask you this question just very quickly, because you're talking about what the definition is to be a big club. Would you say Napoli are a big club, not just in Italy, but in general, but even more so specifically Italy? Oh, you don't think so? Even that you've won more league titles recently in that corporate. I think you are in a way. Like maybe not the
we're big up in the south.
I think Napoli
in the south.
I would say we're a growing club. I think we're growing. We are growing from here. Fan base wise, we're the 4th biggest club in Italy, only behind the big 3. However, financially, we're smaller than Rome.
A big club, Gianni, because your fan base, I know trophies and all that, of course, they're the most important thing. But if you got a grandiose fan base, that makes you big.
It does in a way, but if you don't have the silverware to back it up, that's part of the problem. Again, before this recent period of us winning, our only history was Maradona. Before Maradona, we had two Coppa Italias. That's it. So if you have a big fan base, it doesn't matter. You have to be able to have the trophies as well for you to be able to prove you're a big club. Now,
so you're still not there yet, Johnny. Basically, that's what you're saying. Quite there yet.
Napoli has to continue what we're doing. Again, now we're averaging a trophy every 3 years. That's big for the club size that we are. If we continue to win to where now we're lowering it to where we're in competition and we're winning a trophy every 2 years, yes, we will eventually cross that threshold to us being a big club. Again, that's the difference of how I look at us and then I look at Arsenal. The size of Arsenal, it doesn't matter who the manager is, what the situation is. You have to win a trophy every year. That has to be the mentality at this club. If it's not, I'm sorry. That's the problem. You can't go to any of the other big 3 in any league and tell them, oh, you're going to go without a trophy for 4 or 5 years and it's going to be okay and we're just going to be happy at competing. They're not going to stand for that. It doesn't matter what league you go to. So for me, that's the reason why I think that when you're looking at this situation, I think that for Napoli, we're not there yet. But Arsenal, the standard has to be get over the line for the league this year. And now consistency, winning. If you can't, I hear that you can't win every single year as far as the league title, but an FA Cup, a League Cup, that has to be mandatory if you're not winning. If you're not winning the league and you're not winning the Champions League, you have to pick up those other trophies.
You know what? And that's what Nat said. Remember you said that, Nat, when Wenger went on that 9-year trophy drought where like the domestic cups were pushed aside. Mm-hmm. We should have won those domestic cups so it breeds winning mentality and you still got trophies coming into the cabinet.
Yeah,
exactly.
But, you're right. Every year we have to be winning. No one can dispute that. But like you said, there's no trust the process in Italy. As bad as you guys are on a national level, there's still no trust the process in your league. There's no trust the process in Spain. There's no trust the process in Germany.
The problem is now.
There's also no trust the process in the US.
The problem is now in England, the fans don't own the clubs, whereas in Italy, not so much in Italy, but Spain, Portugal, we own. I'm a member of Benfica. I have a say. If they want to change the name of the stadium, my vote counts. Yeah. Whereas at Arsenal, if they want to change the name to the Emirates Stadium, they're not going to ask you anything. They're just going to do it in their little board meeting.
No,
Yeah. So that's the big difference. You see, they got all the power. Whereas in Spain and Portugal, we can hold them up the wall by the throat and say, look, get it sorted or I'll be back. Yeah. And
I hear what you're saying, Furiosa, but the thing is, I don't even think it's down to so much lack of say from the fans over here. I think it's more the standards. It's the lack of standards, because the whole voting thing and all of that, I could hear that up to a certain point. You know, Germany, them fans have stakes at their football clubs, and that's great. I'm not downplaying that one bit. I would love it over here, but the truth of the matter is, the reason why English football in the league, all of our leagues, but especially in the Premier League, is in the gutter, lack of quality and all sorts, is because of the lack of mentality, and it stems from the fan bases. And if the fan base keep it high and they're still struggling and all that, look at Chelsea. Chelsea's fan base, there's more of a mixture of high standards and trust the process. They're becoming the new Arsenal, innit? But they had an owner that had the standards so high. If it's not the fans, it's the ownership. If it's not the ownership, it's the fans. And the problem is, at Arsenal, we have neither. Until the fans buck up their ideas, get their shit together, this is going to continue, with or without Arteta. And that's the problem.
Jez, can I ask you? I want to ask this question more so for you. And thank you for hopping on and giving me your time. I always appreciate talking with you, my guy. Where would you say for back in the day for Arsenal, and I'm going back 70s and 80s, was the standard that of what I said, that it was demanded to win at least a trophy every single year? Was that the standards that the fans had for the club?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I figured. Yeah.
I can honestly say to you, the standards of football now have changed so dramatically, it's quite laughable. I can only talk from the Bertie Mee era onwards. That's when I first saw Arsenal football. But after the great 71 season, and when we won our first European trophy in the City's Fairs Cup, the demand became very high that Arsenal had to win and win and win. And then, of course, after the 71, we lost to Leeds United in 72 in the FA Cup, and it went down and down and down until, of course, Terry Neal came back to manage Arsenal and won us an FA Cup. And this is the thing is, all my lifetime, right, there's been demand to win. But Arsenal are like a roller coaster. It's up, it's down, it's up, it's down, it's up, and it's down. And this is where we seem to go. And I find it quite interesting, really, in the fact that all of us here, or all the Arsenal fans here, are demanding success. That's one thing. But there's a lot of Arsenal fans that accept abject failure. Oh, we'll go next year. We'll have a go next year. Oh, no. Well, you know, we give it a go, right? But we didn't quite get it this year. We'll go again next year. I don't know where that mentality's come from. I really don't understand it, because any football club wants success year in, year out. That's why we compete.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're about. Now, is this mentality come? And I honestly do believe this, right? If you go back nowadays in England, Wales, Scotland, we've brought in this culture of failure is okay. Oh, it doesn't matter if you didn't win. You know, at the school summer sports championship. Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You give it a go. It don't matter. And unfortunately, I think that mentality has come through now to supporters, that it's okay to not win, but we'll just support the club. Oh no, we'll just support the manager. Because this manager's done wonders for the club. He's brought a togetherness. What fucking togetherness? I can tell you, right? At Wembley 2 weeks ago, when I was there was a lot of not togetherness. There was a lot of Arsenal fans where I sat, right, were very, very pissed off. Very pissed off, and were very vocal about it. Right? He may not have seen it on the TV, but I was there. I was listening to him. I was talking to people. Right? I had an older couple behind me. Yeah, and they were very, very upset. And they've been going to Arsenal a lot longer than I have. I swear. And they were very upset, very upset. And, you know, and I don't understand the mentality of it's okay to fail. And I don't understand it, man. I really don't, because it always has been born and bred to me. Back in the day, in the 70s, 80s, 90s, you were there to win. And if you didn't win and failed, you were calling people out. I mean, yeah, I was there. I was one of them that called Terry Neal out. I went up to his in the town hall and got him out, right? And I was one of the people who was getting pissed off Wenger. Yeah, Jules Graham, not so much. He got the bin because of what he did. I mean, come on. I mean, in them days, everybody was taking a bloody bung. Are you telling me that the Venables with Alan Sugar, Lord Sugar, were the most corrupt people at Tottenham? Are you having a laugh? You're having a laugh. Alan Sugar, right? Barrow Boy becomes a multi-millionaire. You don't become a multi-millionaire by being honest. Sorry, you don't become a millionaire by being honest. You cheat, you lie.
Yeah.
That's facts, Jess.
There's not a single family dynasty that we've seen. There's not a single billionaire on this planet that didn't do illegal shit to get there, whether we like it or not.
It's part and parcel.
Yeah, exactly. It comes
Roman
with
Abramovich, Sigmund Sur, all the guys in
forget
America,
about it.
all the guys abroad.
Cronkies, bruv.
But Gianni, but going back to the question you asked about what team should Arsenal play against Southampton, my opinion is the internationals that played definitely shouldn't play, and I don't think will play, like your Goikarez's. Nordgaard, would you believe it, played centre back for Denmark, because I watched the game. Maybe him, because he never gets a game. So really, maybe just one or two first team players to start. Ideally nobody, but definitely not the international players. And you've got a few, haven't you? The South Americans, the European guys, English guys. So so the internationals, no, maybe you'll see one or two guys. That's my opinion.
You know what? I'm glad you mentioned Gyökeres. I'm glad you said that. Have you seen the difference? You see how he balled out for Sweden?
Yeah, because they're all playing for him, because he's the daddy there. He's not the daddy at Arsenal. They don't treat him like the daddy. He's like another guy. Yeah,
exactly.
That's the big difference. At Sporting, he was the daddy. They all looked up to him.
Thank you.
At Sweden, they all look up to him. At Arsenal, there's other egos. There's guys there that earn 300,000 a week. They look at Goikarez and think, "Who the hell are you?" You feel me? There's the ego thing. Dressing room, it's natural. It's the animal instinct in us.
Yep, agreed. Jez, I want to ask the same question to you that I asked the panel, and Quaj, I'll come to you too, and big up for hopping on. For you, Jez, in my personal opinion, I use the quote from Trapattoni. It's sometimes during the season you have to take an educated risk. I do not, as I said before, I don't like how the FA Cup has become mistreated. I think the FA Cup is the biggest and best domestic cup there is in football. Even today, even as much as they've tried to bastardize it and everything else, I still think it's the most coveted domestic cup in football. would you take an educated gamble and risk playing majority, if not the entire team, as the second team, so that guys can continue to rest since we have Sporting and Bournemouth coming up next weekend? Or would you risk playing some of the starters to make sure we get into the next round?
Good question, man. But I'm sorry. The FA Cup is personal to me, and you got to go for it. No bullshit. No bullshitting now. You know, this manager can't afford the bullshit no more. He cocked it up in the League Cup, got it all totally wrong. But he's got options there. Start the kids, give it a go. You know, and it's his fault that we've now got potentially players out because he's overplayed them when he's had options to not play them. And we got a tough time coming in right now. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, he's got to go for it 110%, because if he doesn't, then the guy's an absolute fucking clown. Excuse my French. Because at the end of the day, if he will disrespect the FA Cup, a player who won the FA Cup with Arsenal, right, then you've got to do it. And if he doesn't do it, then that absolutely shows what a twat he is.
And the question was not to say to throw the kids in, to throw it away. For me, again, this is the standards that I hold at Arsenal. Our second team should still go out and beat Southampton, even though, again, Southampton has played very, very well at home, and it's not a easy place for us to go and play. The only reason why I put it like that was because we need to get over the line and win this league. Because if we don't win the league, there's going to be hell to pay for this, and that's the only reason why I put it like that. Is
his own fault, Gianni. That's his
100%.
Gianni, the team should be made up of all the players that weren't on international duty. It's as simple as that. And maybe if he thinks one guy, you know, like you're saying, Goykeres or whatever, but I wouldn't risk those guys. So you've got enough there, mix and a blend of non-international players that didn't play internationally to beat Arsenal. Now it's up to him to make the mix.
No, 100%. But see, the problem is, though, Furioso, is that he has not been good with rotation this entire season. And if I'm being quite honest with you, he's not been good with rotation for 2 years. That's why a lot of these players are walking
favorites. He has his favorites. He's one of them managers. He has his favorites. He likes that core.
Correct.
And that's, you know, and he'll burn them to the ground. Yeah, that's the way he is.
Correct.
But yeah, that's what ideally you would do, wouldn't you? You play a team that wasn't on international duty.
100%. And again, that's the thing. And here, you know this being a Benfica fan, because Benfica does this as well.
That's what we do. Yeah.
But Benfica allows the youth. Benfica allows their youth talent into the 11 to continue their growth and everything else. This guy doesn't. Max Dalman should have been put in the League Cup to not only give somebody else a break, but he's our best winger at the current time, whether we like it or not, that a 16-year-old's our best winger. And Ethan Nwaneri was sent on loan. That's failed for us because we don't have a release clause to bring him back. We have to now deal with him being out on loan, and he refuses to play Miles Lewis-Skelly in his proper position. That's the problem. He doesn't like using the youth talent, only when he's able to break records to make it seem like he's a good youth manager when he isn't. And like you said, he has his favorites, and he chooses not to rotate. That's why these guys are so banged up.
Up front, for instance, I would go Eze, because he doesn't get much of
hurt.
the game.
He's injured.
He's
injured
for a month.
But it would be Jesus and the young kid, because he's got to play, you know, the young superstar. Now you're saying Eze is injured, you know, whatever else you guys got. I mean, the guy from Belgium, is he playing internationally?
He's hurt. Trossard's hurt too.
Is he hurt? Is he? Yeah, but I still wouldn't risk the international guys, though.
I hear it.
You know, like Saka and Goykeres. Maybe Goykeres, because he's a machine. He really is.
Yep. Go ahead, Jez.
Do you know what I find funny, right? Yeah. Fucking makes me laugh. I was on the stream last night, and these people that call themselves top gooners and gooners, whatever. And there was a fellow on there last night, and he was. I said to him, "There are no top gooners," and he said, "Well, you're a bottom gooner." I said, "Right," and that pissed me off because I said, "Do you actually know what the goons are? Do you actually know who they are?" And he went, "No." I said, "So how dare you call yourself a gooner when you don't know who the real gooners are?" And he looked at me like he's completely blank. And I said, "You heard of the Herd?" And he went, "No." And I said, "So you're calling yourself a top Arsenal fan? You've never heard of the Herd. You're calling yourself a gooner, and you don't know who the gooners were."
Yeah, they're Premiership fans. They don't know the history of football.
I was like astounded. I was absolutely fucking astounded. I was like,
Premiership fans.
"Really? Really?" And I'm thinking, yeah, you want to call the likes of me and other people a bottom gooner, and you call yourself a top gooner, and you don't know who the fucking gooners are. Get out, man.
The sheer disrespect, Jez. Unbelievable.
It's jokes, man. It's jokes.
What did they say? Didn't they say Don Revy was the manager?
Yeah.
Don Revy was the manager, and Robin Van Persie came out of the youth academy. What the fuck we doing here?
Oh God.
Quasha, what's your take on this? And we'll get the question to
Yeah,
Rob.
Quasha, didn't realize you were on. Nice to see
Big
you.
up, Rob, man. Big up. Rob.
Quasha, what do you say? Do you make it an educated gamble and heavily rotate the starting 11 for this team, or do you risk playing some of these starting 11 guys and potentially face more injuries with Sporting and Bournemouth coming up?
First of all, big up the panel, big up Jez. Obviously, first of all, congratulations to Normski. He's reached 1,000 subs.
He did his 1K.
Nice
one, Normski.
Congratulations to Normski. Congratulations, he's reached
Big up.
the 1K milestone. And yeah, listen, I would definitely rotate because it doesn't matter if it's Southampton, because let's be real, you got Sporting. That's a big game for us. Sporting is a very big game for us, and we need to wrap some of our key players in cotton wool. That's what we always say. We rest them, we protect the vote for Sporting Lisbon, because if we get some of our key players injured for the Sporting game, it's going to be a tough game for us, because the Sporting game is going to be looking tough. But for the Southampton game, I expect to see rotation. I don't want to see Kepa in goal, because the guy absolutely cost us in the Carabao Cup final.
He's playing though, right? You know, Kepa's
him
playing
in the box and he couldn't even catch the ball. He might as well just punch it away. If you can't catch a ball, you might as well just push it away. But yeah, I don't trust Kepa. I mean, the guy's an absolute scrub. No club wanted Kepa. Go and tell Real Madrid and Bournemouth why didn't they not sign Kepa on a permanent deal? They didn't want him. They didn't want to sign him on a permanent because he's rubbish. Only Lego Head did, because we all know what this Lego Head does. He loves Chelsea's trash. He loves buying Chelsea's trash for no reason. He thinks that he would make Chelsea's trash. You'd make these Chelsea players better. You don't make any attacking player look good, bruv. You make them look average, because the way you play them, the style of play, yeah, it's haram ball. That's what it is. It's haram ball FC. We're not Arsenal FC. It's haram ball FC, because we always park the bus, Gianni. We always do that. He always wants to park the bus. Why would you park the bus anyway? Who on earth does that? Like, in the second half against Southampton, let's assume, I don't know, maybe we're 1-0 up. Let's assume we're 1-0 up at half time. You start parking the bus. You allow them to attack. And once they score, the game's going to change. He'll always do that, Gianni. He always parks the bus. And I'm like, why does this manager always wants to defend? You do realize that 1-0 is not enough. So go and get the second, go and get the third, go and get the fourth, and kill the game off. But no, he overcomplicates it. And you've got all these fans coming out and saying, oh, why are you being so pessimistic about Arteta? He's done a great job. He did this and that. Well, he cost us the Carabao Cup final, people. What do you expect? He always does it. He bottles it when it matters. And some of these players better step up, because I'm telling you now, we need to win something. 6 years without a trophy. We're sitting here waiting, looking at us going, when are we going to actually win a trophy? When are we going to see some of our fans go into that parade? Because I believe we beat Manchester City, but what happened? Arteta decided, you know what? I'm just going to stink out the game, park the bus, and maybe get, I don't know, a stinky corner kick or maybe an own goal to win the game, maybe gain 2 own goals to beat,
No, he was playing for penalties.
Yeah, he definitely was.
Yeah.
I mean, even if we were playing for penalties, I don't think we'll win that penalty shootout because I think Donnarumma would save those penalty shootouts.
But the problem is, Kawaja, Donnarumma didn't play that final. Trafford did, and I said it before, Trafford is a decent goalkeeper because he has only conceded 2 goals in this League Cup, and he is somebody that is a very difficult keeper to score past. And the fact is, we never should have started Kepa in this final because Arteta has fallen into Pep's trap. Because we knew that Pep was going to start Trafford, so Arteta should have been smart enough to realize that Raya should have been the main option, but no, he just wants to do whatever Pep wants to do because all he tries to do, he just wants to copy what Pep is doing. So what did Arteta do? He started Pep. Yeah, because this is what Arteta loves to do. He just wants to copy what Pep is doing because he is so obsessed with doing whatever Pep is doing because he
thinks he learns from Pep because he's been telling us that he's been learning from Pep Guardiola. He did this and he's doing this, but he actually can't win. That's the funny thing. He can't even win. If you're telling me you learn from Pep but you still can't win, what does that mean then? What is because Pep is your teacher or something? Because it looks like Pep is now your teacher at school. He's your school teacher, and you still can't understand the basics.
Let's look at the other managers that have walked their way, that have walked themselves away from Pep. Vincent Kompany, look what he did when he in his first role as Bayern Munich boss. Won the Bundesliga trophy. Enzo Maresca won the Conference League trophy. They have accomplished something in their careers, but what has our manager accomplished?
Just one FA Cup, which is Emery's team, basically.
So hopefully we might win the Premier League, but I highly doubt it because I don't trust this manager anymore.
But guys, is there a trophy competing?
I don't know. I mean, we could get the October trophy because everyone was talking about the October champions, the November champions. Don't forget, Antonio, we competed the Carabao Cup trophy. Does anyone not want to mention the fact that we got the Community Shields and the friendlies? Because everyone wants to talk about
that ain't no fucking trophy.
Oh, the Community Shields, yes.
That ain't
plates. And
the
the
plates as well, because we won the Emirates Cup. Jez,
yeah.
I mean, Arteta said he wanted to include the Community Shields because he won 3 trophies in his press conference. He said he won 1 FA Cup and 2 Community Shields. Why do we not go and talk about being the Singapore champions? Because we won it in July 25. I mean, why can't we not talk about that? Obviously, I'm joking, but obviously Arteta takes that seriously more than these cups because he thinks that these are farmers' trophies and dusty trophies and that whatever it is. But listen,
but also quite just sorry, just to cut in very, very briefly, just to cut in, like Arteta also stood on the pitch after we finished second and said demand better. So and then when we demand better, we're chastised and saying we're against him. Your own fucking manager said to demand better. So when the fans do, like us and us lot in this community, we're then the bad guys. But your manager said it. So make that make sense.
He also said, don't be satisfied with second, and we finished second place last season. How did that go? He
was holding a microphone and he was like saying to the whole world, demand better. But I saw the likes of Saliba, Skelly, and Tierney. They were all sitting down in the chair and they were feeling a bit angry. They were pissed off. Like they must be thinking themselves, why is this manager talking? Like, why are we here in the first place? If I was such a guy, I would leave this football club with my head held high. Only one person left this football club with their head held high, and that was Kieran Tierney. Look what he's done since he left Arsenal. He's balling out at Celtic. And even though Celtic might not win the Premiership because I think Hearts this year, this could be their year to win the Premiership, but every single player that has left this manager, they have gone on to accomplish things. Like
the problem with Tierney, though, he was having a good spell. You would have a good spell, and then he would break down, injury. Good spell, injuries. That's
No,
his
no,
problem.
no,
He wasn't-
Furioso, that's not true. That's
No.
not true.
No, it's not.
That's
What?
false. That's false PR. That's
Other
been
players had more injury records than him.
Tierney was with
Yeah.
Arsenal.
Calafiori's more injury prone than Kieran
Yes.
Tierney,
It
man.
Yeah.
felt like
Tomiyasu.
Don't forget
That Tierney's
Tomiyasu.
injury prone.
it felt like he
Tierney-
was always injured.
No,
what it
that's the
felt
way
like.
that they-
How was he
You know.
injured?
No, that's the way
Shevchenko.
that's the way that they peddled it out. If you look at it, Tierney was with Arsenal for a total of 6 years. He went on loan for 1 year to Real Sociedad, but in a physical Arsenal jersey, he was there for 5 years. He was hurt for 192 days in 5 years. Calafiori's been injured for over 220 days in 18 months.
Yeah, exactly. That shows you how.
And that's what
injury-prone
we
he is.
mean. That's what we mean by when we talk about the PR machine behind Arsenal. That stuff like that is false. People who it's not coming at you personally, but that's what I mean. That people are told false information, and the PR continues to push that as far the false information to protect the manager in a lot of ways. Because again, this is what we mean by a big club. Big clubs normally give a manager 2 years, maybe a third year as an option, win or get the fuck out. Again, we've seen it at Milan, we've seen it at Juve, we've seen it at Inter, we see it at Benfica, we see it any big club you want to mention across Europe. They normally operate like that. The PR, as Natster likes to say, to quote Nat, the PR process is
PR Emir League.
is the
PR
reason why that we have the situation that we have right now at Arsenal. Because again, whether these guys like Arteta or not, it doesn't matter. It's also about the standards. If you're going to be a big club, act like a big club. Don't teams that do this, that are happy to compete, are the teams like Brighton, the teams that don't really, that know they're not going to have a chance at winning, but won't even try to go out in a chance to win. They'd rather just be content, continue to do this, make money, and not really take anything seriously. And that's where it's starting. That's where it feels that Arsenal has gone down this path, because again, there's no other big three team in any league that would tolerate.
No, they can never. Sorry to just cut in slightly. Like they could never, like any Arsenal or Arteta, pro Arteta fan that you kind of argue this point with, can ever name a big club that would keep a manager this long, given this trophy record. They'll try to point towards, oh well, look how far he brought us, and all this, which is obviously baseless. But there really is. There's nobody. If you look at Man City, Liverpool, Man United, even Spurs sacked Ange after winning the Europa League, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Barcelona, any team like that. Like, there really is nobody. Even if you drop it down a little bit and you sort of like talk about fallen giants, even a team like Valencia, even Spain in La Liga wouldn't keep someone like Arteta that long if he went 6 years and only won one Copa del Rey. So it's very bizarre to me that like it just it goes back to this cult type thing that has happened to this club. And the whole face of this club has changed, by the way. Like, if you go out into reality and you deal with actual 3D people instead of just being chronically online, I'm not saying any of us are, by the way. I'm just saying that, like, there's a lot of our fan base who are just chronically online and don't really realize that there's a lot of opinion about our fan base, which a lot of these non-Arsenal fans, when you speak to them, they automatically assume you're delusional when you announce that you're an Arsenal fan, because of this guy, because of what's happened over the last few years. The amount of fans I've met either at the gym or at a bar or wherever I've been, who I can tell they automatically kind of look at me a bit sideways. They look at me a little bit funny. They have this kind of look in their eye when I say I'm an Arsenal fan, until they speak to me a bit more, because they're so used to they're so used to dealing with delusional shit from Arsenal fans because of what's happened with this guy over the last few years. He has literally changed the face of this club. He's changed the way that this club has been viewed. There's no way 20 years ago, a lot of some of the stuff that Arsenal fans come out with now, success is competing, all this kind of stuff. There's no way. Like, I think I said this on your show the other day. I got called a plastic fan for wanting to win trophies, for saying I wanted to win trophies. Can you imagine saying that 20 years ago?
Crazy.
Rob, you know why that is, Rob? Yeah, the streets are Arteta out, bro. The streets know better. That's why the streets are the streets. The streets keep it real, yeah? Like, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of Arsenal fans that don't want this manager here no more. There's a lot more of them than people think. They look at Igal, they look at Christian, they look at Stricto, Marty, whoever the fuck, and they just a lot of other fans base their viewpoint on, well, you guys aren't serious because they're the ones that are saying Arteta's the guy. But again, it's PR OSIS, it's PR Emily. But if you talk to the real ones, especially out and about, if you touch grass and all of that, like you said, wherever you are, gym, bar, whatever the case may be, they don't want this manager here no more. Jez, you were at the League Cup final. I'm sure there were loads of fans that were like, nah, this has got to stop. The gig is up. The masquerade is over. If it wasn't for COVID, right? Just very quickly, Antonio, if it wasn't for COVID, this manager would have been sacked. He would have been sacked. All of them defeats, Burnley, Aston Villa, Wolves. I think we lost to Fulham as well at home during that time, He had us 15th. People forget because it's COVID, he had us 15th at the end of 2020.
Yeah, and also we lost to Everton twice, Nats. The first time Everton have beaten us home and away for the first time in history.
And also, at one point, Tottenham were top and Arsenal were bottom. First time ever that's ever
It was
happened.
actually Ancelotti and Gianni. I mean, these top gooners were talking about Ancelotti washed. Arsenal beat Real Madrid. Ancelotti washed. He's finished. Arteta masterclass. That's what everyone told us.
And also, the first time that Arteta got outclassed by our former manager Unai Emery, Emery beat us 2-1, and then at the Emirates, he was able to keep a clean sheet because this manager, because we had to score one goal to go through. And what does this fucking clown do? He takes off the one guy that is the only hope of getting one goal for us. He brings him off and brings on an Afro-looking version of Eddie Gordo. And what did this clown do? Runs around the whole pitch and does nothing. We never should have signed Willian in the first place. I'm sick and tired of these Chelsea scrubs. I never see another player from Chelsea at Arsenal ever again.
You shouldn't do business. You shouldn't do business with your city rivals. I hate that. I mean, Benfica do it with Sporting also. They have done it historically. Yeah. But I hate that because it's, they're rivals. You know what I mean? It's
exactly.
Also,
it's money laundering. That's why we do it. It's money laundering.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Also, as well, even Bayern Munich do it to Borussia Dortmund. They don't care.
They always smash.
But
they
also,
always smash Dortmund. They bully everybody there.
Yeah, but just to feed off what you guys said about the PR and the fans and all that.
At one point.
Bayern Munich are probably the biggest bullies in for a big team in European football because they literally get first picks of any talent in Germany. Whereas, for instance, in let's say Portugal, it isn't Benfica. There's at least three big, wanting that talent or whatever. But Bayern have got the say, and even if Dortmund do get him, they end up going to get him, don't they? When he's made.
Yep.
Yeah. So
just to feed off what you said about the online fans, all that. Not only that, Nat and panel, ex-players, Mike Keogh.
Yeah.
What Ian Wright said was unforgivable.
Yeah.
Because if he thinks that trophy is not worth anything, hey, Ian, you know that 1993 trophy that you won, that medal that you won, that League Cup? Give it back.
Yeah.
Or sell it on eBay.
And
is that what he said?
Antonio,
why is he even there?
He's also doing commercials as well. Antonio, haven't you heard? He's been doing some stupid commercials like Go Compare and Marks and Spencer's. Like, what the fuck, bro? Why are you doing commercials?
He sold out
because he's a big name. He's a big name, isn't he?
It's a freaking clown.
He's a clown.
Guy's out.
Yeah, it's a big name, but again, there's big names that hold the standard. Again, every single time.
The majority of them sell out, don't they? The majority do.
Yes.
Some of them do, some of them don't. Because look, every time Manuel Petit gets on TalkSport, Manuel Petit says he wants trophies. Same thing with Patrick Vieira. Same thing with every time you hear Thierry Henry. Remember, this is how crazy this fan base is. Remember, when Thierry Henry was on the overlap, he said, I want at least a cup. At least a cup should have been won in this time period with Arteta when they asked him about it. As soon as that interview got dropped, the amount of these positive fans that were talking reckless and craziness about Thierry Henry was an absolute fucking disgrace, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
And
it's the same with Tony Adams as well. They say you're a fake manager. You don't know. You don't know
well.
what coaching is like. How dare you talk about this? I'm like, come on, bro. It's
Even
just
Vieira
basic
as well. He
knowledge.
was
The fact that they dared compare Odegaard in any way towards Adams is just like.
okay.
and also
Not only
Vieira
that,
as well.
Martin
Big up to
Keown
Vieira.
tried saying that Martin Odegaard reminds him and is on the same level of Liam Brady. It's like, brother, do you even remember how
Who said
good
this?
Liam Brady
Who
was?
said this?
He just
Yeah.
out of his height. And also,
Who said
Vieira
this?
was slagging off Odegaard at one point when we lost 3-2 to Manchester United. Vieira was absolutely cussing Odegaard because Odegaard was having a stinky game against United.
This is the same Martin Keown that gave
hasn't had a
player of
good
the
game in
match
3
to
years.
Odegaard.
Yeah, because Odegaard, for me, like, I just don't understand what makes him the chosen one. Like what is it about Odegaard that makes this our fan base feel like he is something special? He was a failed wonder kid at Real Madrid that never got an opportunity to play for them, and then after that, the best of Martin Odegaard was when he went to Real Sociedad. That was it. So what makes this fan base think that Odegaard is something special?
Very spit in his hand and
To Rob,
his hair.
real quick, to Rob, because Rob hasn't answered the question yet. Rob, would you same question that I've asked everybody else? Would you make this an educated gamble with the FA Cup and rotate heavily, or would you still put in a lot of the starting 11 in order to see through? But obviously, you could potentially be risking these players for the Sporting and the very important Bournemouth game coming up.
Oh no, I mean, like, so it's like I think that basically we should be able to beat Southampton. I understand the Southampton record, and Southampton have a good record. I understand the bit of jeopardy that it's the FA Cup and everything, but I still think that obviously if we have the greatest squad in Europe and the best manager in the world, that we should be able to like play a sort of slightly rested team. I'm not saying that we rest a full 11, so I wouldn't be pro resting a full 11 because I'm still very much an FA Cup person. But I would like to see us like just take out the guys who are in the main red zone. However, I don't trust Arteta and staff to be able to judge that. So that's the problem. So it's kind of like if it was up to me or if it was up to kind of like somebody who could kind of like judge red zones correctly, then yes, take the guys out who are the proper red zone guys, play a sort of weakened-ish team, which should be enough given all that we're told, given all the glazing that we're given about this team and this manager and all the, everything that's associated with it, to beat Southampton, even with their record. But yeah, so like a quote unquote half strength team, I suppose should still be able to get a 2-1 out of the game. I think whatever team we play, it's actually going to be a very difficult game. I actually think that Southampton are going to be very up for this game. They're going to be fighting for every ball. Whether they have the fitness to last it is another thing, but also whether we have the fitness to last it is another thing.
It's a two-way street right now, isn't
exactly,
it?
Yeah. So I think this is actually going to be a bit more of an interesting game, quote unquote interesting in the Chinese sense of interesting, than we realize. That we ain't going there. I see people going there. I've seen some top gooners predicting like 4-1s and all this kind of stuff, 3-0s. I'd be very, very surprised if it goes to that level. I think it's going to be a very tough game, but I think we get through it. But yeah, I think this is definitely a good opportunity to rest some players because we could have had Man City away, we could have Liverpool away. We've not. We got Southampton away. I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but at least it gives us an opportunity to rest a few players who are kind of like seriously on the brink. But again, it's whether we can trust the management to judge whether they're on the brink or not properly. Do you know what I mean? So, so yeah, I guess we just kind of like, it'd be very interesting when we do the preview show to see what that lineup's going to be. I'm very curious about this 11. I'm very curious about this 11.
So with that being said, right, let's say he even super hypothetical, but let's say he does that same stupid shit where he plays with a back line of 3 like he did in the one game and we nearly lost it. If he loses to Southampton, for me personally, because I've already written off, we're not winning the Champions League. If he loses to Southampton, even if he wins the league, I think everybody would be in agreement here that he has to go.
Yeah.
One trophy. Commendable that you got us fighting for all the different trophies, right? How you've gone about it is where we disagree with his mentality because he's ran so many people into the ground. However, considering the amount of money, because everyone likes to say, oh, we can't compete with City. Well, we spent $1 billion. You need to compete with City whether you like it or not with the amount of money being spent. Would you guys all agree that if it's only one trophy, even if it is the league, that he has to leave at the end of this year?
100%. Yes.
Jez, I'll start with you on this one, and then we'll go around.
He has to.
Jez?
I've said I want him gone. Fat, simple. I've had enough. It's continual disappointment, shit football. At least under George Graham, when we played shit football, we were winning trophies. It's a big difference, man. It's a big difference. It's laughable. I mean, some of the people in the chat here tonight, Jesus Christ Almighty. Seriously, giving it all a big one. These people, right? I get it that you support the manager. I respect that. But your inane comments, oh, watch your back, Jez, watch your back, and all this and all that. Right, yeah, okay. When I was at Wembley 2 weeks ago, I was chatting to people who were coming up to me saying, hi, Jez, I watch you on YouTube. I don't agree with you, but nice to meet you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, fucking wankers, man, that come in and watch your back. What are you going to do then? What are you going to do? You ain't going to do nothing because the people with all the mouth do nothing. That's true in life. But, sorry, mate. If he don't do it, he's got to go. Sorry. That's it.
Yep. I hear it. Antonio, we'll go up to you. What do you think? If it's only the league, does he still have to go? And if he does stay, and if you do, I'll even say this: if he does win the league and you give him one more year, what's it for next year? Because, like I said, I think he's not going to leave. He doesn't have the balls to say, you know what, we won it, but I think I've done enough. I think I should leave. I think if he only wins the league, he should be sacked. He'll end up staying, but then next year he has to win more. But what's your opinion, my friend?
Yeah, Johnny, I already said that we spent over $1 billion, and also I already mentioned that these top fans saying we've got the best squad in the world, the best coach in the world, etc. So if that's the case, one trophy will not be enough for me, Johnny. We have to win at least 2 this season. I want a minimum of 2.
Yep.
But knowing our club, if he wins one trophy, which is the Premier League, say for example, if it's that, they'll keep him on. I want at least 2 trophies. If that's the case and he stays on after that, then do it again next season. Because I don't want us to be a club where we're going to win a couple of trophies this season, all of a sudden in 5 years' time we still haven't won anything. So this season, Johnny, I want 2 trophies minimum. 1 is not enough.
Agreed. Jim?
I agree with Antonio. I want 2 trophies. 1 trophy is not enough. And I want, if he doesn't win us 2 trophies, I want him sacked on the spot. And bring me like Luis Enrique in. Because he knows what to do with the squad.
Mm-hmm. Good comment. Macy?
Yeah, 100%. I agree with Antonio and Jim. This manager has to win 2 trophies because 1 trophy is not enough. And if he does not win more than 2 trophies, then he has to fuck off. And any one of these fan base, these top gooners that have backed this manager for years and years, they need to fuck off as well. Robbie, Christian, Stricto, Igal, all you 4 motherfuckers that have supported Arteta for years, you can fuck off as well because you have been chatting shit to us because we were the ones that were speaking facts about this manager and the football club. But you want to say that, oh, you guys are the bottom gooners. You will never be like us. No, we don't want to be like you guys. We want to be the real ones. We want to be the ones that keep it real for the team. So this is why, if this manager does not win another trophy, but wins one trophy, I'm sorry, that is not good enough. He needs to fuck off, and Berta has to go and find a proper replacement, because I believe that Berta, for me, is the guy that is going to bring us something to this football club. Edu could not have done one good job right. So I trust that Berta is going to make a change this summer.
Agreed. And just before we come to you, Nat, I just want to say it's hilarious that when you ask people who you want, instead of if Arteta goes, they all say they want like Luis Enrique, not for people like us, but for the positive side. It's funny because it's like, well, you want Enrique because he's a world-class manager and you know he's going to win. Why isn't it the same standard for Arteta then? If you know that Arteta, it's kind of like almost like a guilt trip with them that they want to go down the route of getting a world-class manager afterwards if Arteta doesn't do it, because then it's them indirectly, whether they like saying it or not, that Arteta not only is not world-class, but he's not a good fucking manager. And it's just weird that you defend this guy for so much, who's been given, whether anybody likes it or not, on the positive side, he's been given the world. He's been given $1 billion. Again, I say it all the time. If you to give Arsene Wenger $200 million starting the season where we let go of Robin van Persie and you still bring in Podolski and everybody else, we win the league, and we win multiple leagues under Wenger at that time period with the players that we had. So for me, I think it's kind of ridiculous that you do this much defending for Arteta, but then if Arteta doesn't do it, you want the top of the line manager. Well, that's what we should be demanding either way. We're Arsenal. Nat.
Also, Johnny as well, you're right. Well, this happened in Jez's chat when we were on a live stream together. Jez I think Jez remembers this. There was someone in the chat saying, well, who's better than Arteta? And I answered, this was straight after the Man City game, the League Cup final. I said, well, there's one manager that beat him today. He's better. And also, like you said, Johnny, when they say to you, who's better than Arteta, ask them this question. Well, if Arteta was to leave or get sacked, who would you want? And like you said, it's Luis Enrique. The irony.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nat?
Yeah, for me, like I said earlier, the only way he stays is if he wins the champs for me. I am aware that we win the league, he'll get another season at least. But that being said, the way I see things going, pattern recognition on lock and all of that, we win the league, right? And he'll still be here. We drop down the table, which we will, and it will be worse than what Liverpool have done this season. Wouldn't it be poetic justice? Word to Kendrick Lamar, poetic justice. We are 8th by Christmas time, and he gets potted then around the similar time that Unai Emery gets potted. So basically, he took us from 8th to 8th with £1 billion spent, 1 league title, 1 FA Cup.
Or no league title and no FA Cup, potentially.
It's almost like you can't write it. But again, like you were saying, Antonio, right? It's always that same old added question. Who would you want when this manager goes? Because he's not going to be here forever. There was a lot of Arsenal fans that were Wenger in and all of that shit, yeah? I never thought he was going to go when he did. I thought they would probably keep him a few years later, even though I wanted him gone years ago. But it's just like the fact that they want a Luis Enrique, the fact that they want a Hansi Flick, do you know what I'm saying? Those types of managers, you know, and not only are they better managers, they play a better style of play. They play attacking football, which this manager has only done one time. One time for your mind, people. Do you know what I'm saying? The hypocrisy is unbearable at this point. It's unbearable. So even the 2 trophies, well, it depends on what 2 trophies. If he wins the Premier League and Champions League, I keep him. If he wins the league and the FA Cup, if he wins a regular double, stack his bomber club. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I mean? And if he wins one, it better be the fucking Champions League, because then all them Chelsea motherfuckers, and I live around them as well, they can't say shit. That's what I want. This is the standard. This is the level, guys. Raise the standards, guys. Do you know what I'm saying? No more playing match. But to be honest, he at this point, Arteta's doing this whole like Wolf of Wall Street. I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving. The show goes on. Like, but here's the thing: the show has to end, bro. It has to end. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like watching a 4 or 5 hour movie, bro. It has to end. I can't do this anymore. Like, I really can't do this anymore. But yeah, like for me, Champions League or bust for this manager.
Ooh.
Like,
Excellent.
simple as that.
And just real quick, Mark, I'm sorry. Arsenal has gone too long without winning the league. I'm not hiring Iriola. I don't care if he plays good football at Bournemouth and all this. I'm done with this process shit. Either win or fuck off. I want an experienced manager at this club. I'm not taking any more chances with
Arsenal should have that. That's a sort of like immediate thing that they should have.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing again. If you haven't won league trophies, if you haven't won the league titles wherever you've managed, I don't want you at Arsenal. That's just the standard. What you need to have.
What sense did it make? You've gone from okay. I know that Unai Emery came in as a little bit of a play stopper or whatever, but you've gone from Arsene Wenger, and then even you could say Unai Emery, but you've gone from Arsene Wenger to Mikel Arteta. What are you thinking? Honestly, what are you thinking? You're in charge. You own Arsenal. Like, I'm talking from the Kroenke's perspective here. You own, you fucking billionaires. You own Arsenal Football Club. So what the fuck are you doing employing a Mikel Arteta when you've got to follow on from Arsene Wenger? Yes, obviously they've tried it with Unai Emery. It didn't work out. Hint, right? Hint, you should have done better than that. And then you did worse than that. And you've absolutely plummeted us for 7 years. And we have these fans who have the nerve to say, oh, God, Mikel Arteta's done so well to take us from where we were. It's just kind of unbelievable, really, honestly. Sorry, I was just going to say my absolute point was like the next manager we have has to be an elite proven winner. We cannot be doing as Fabregas and Areola, nothing like this. It has to be a proven winner. There can be no negotiation on that.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Who would you have though?
Me personally, I'm calling Ancelotti as soon as the World Cup's over.
Right, because please don't mention it, Luis Enrique, because it's not realistic. Yeah.
Imagine if Brazil wins the World Cup.
You could have got him and should have got him in the past had you sacked Arteta and whatever. You could have got him. But then it's that boat's sailed, doesn't it? But can I just say my opinion on the Arteta get rid of whatever is looking on the outside, because I'm not an Arsenal fan, but I do keep an eye on him on all the English teams. My opinion is Arteta's contract does not say you must win the Premier League. I believe it says, and it said from day one, get us top 4. Yeah. Keep the business going, because top 4 is Champions League. And that's sufficient, because if it didn't say that, they would have got rid of him a long time ago. The module at the minute is not to must win the Premier League. It should be, but unfortunately, it's still top 4. See what we get out of it. And that's the problem. And that's the problem at Arsenal. Yeah,
I hear it.
Because that's their standards. Their standards is look. Well,
they're going to start getting shit as well.
We're getting close.
We're going to get him out. The fans will eventually turn on.
That's the thing. That's the thing. What you need? What you need? Hold on a minute now. What you need to break that module is the fans, like you've just said. Now you have to crazy protest at the matches, boo. All the shenanigans. Because their module, I'm telling you now, Arteta's contract does not say must win the Premier League. It says top 4. That's it.
I do think we could get a Lewis.
Real quick, Nat. Real quick. Jez has got to bounce. Jez, I want to say thank you again. I always appreciate your time, my friend. I hope you have a good Easter, have a good weekend, and hopefully we get this win Saturday in the FA Cup.
Yeah, well, we're going to see. I'll be making my way down there, and it's going to be a long night out for me. 2.5 hours to get there, then the game, and
Train back as well.
just hope it don't go to extra time and all that shit. That's gonna be a right long one for me. But yeah, gentlemen, it's been a great honour to be on with you all. As always, speaking facts, brilliant. And there was a question answered to me about the greatest British striker I've ever seen. For me, it's got to be George Best, greatest player, British striker I've ever seen in my life. I was privileged to see him, and there you go. Anyway, gentlemen, I'm out of it. Take care.
Take care, Jess. Good night.
Take care,
Enjoy
Jess.
it.
Have a great night.
See you
Happy
next
Easter,
time, mate.
sir.
See you next time.
Jandy,
Take care.
Laters. Take care, man.
I just
Jandy,
wanna-
I'm going to head off as well.
Okay, Antonio, I appreciate it.
Okay.
Again. Appreciate your
So,
time.
salute to the panel. Johnny, thank you for having me on.
Nice to meet you, man.
Full
And-
size duty.
And chat room, subscribe to all the channels. Whoever's got a channel on this panel, please. Okay. And also, Gianni, hopefully a new chapter for Italia. Speriamo. Dite coggiate.
Ciao, buonanotte, signor.
Buonanotte, ciao, voglio.
Take care, Antonio, man. Big up.
Take care. Yeah.
Take care,
Mark,
Antonio. Big up.
listen, Mark, I hear with what you're saying. And listen, Mark, you're more than welcome to hop on the show if you want to, but I'm sorry. Areola and all these little hipster managers are not the guys that I'm looking at right now. I'm sorry. Guys have to have won in other areas. Hell, I would give Glasner more.
So, who would you guys have then? So you said Ancelotti. Let's all pick one guy.
My list.
You're not allowed to pick Luis Enrique because that's not realistic. Yeah. Who would you have? Seriously.
I honestly would be looking at. I would be looking
Simeone.
at Simeone if he decides to
Yeah.
leave.
I was going to say that.
I would look
That's
at Simeone.
realistic.
I
think
would
that's
look at.
realistic.
I would look at Ancelotti again.
Yeah.
Depending on what happens. Depending on what happens with him, I would even keep an eye on the situation with Roberto Mancini. I would keep an eye on. Fuck.
You wouldn't take Pep Guardiola, would you?
Pep Guardiola's not coming to Arsenal.
No,
he's
That's not
lost it.
happening.
I've got a feeling.
that's not realistic. That's not realistic because
No,
money
it
is
is.
the manager on the planet, but you know.
Honestly, another person that I would look at, depending on what happens, I know they're saying that he might extend his contract. Thomas Tuchel is somebody that I would keep an eye on.
Okay.
Jesus, really?
Interesting.
Yeah, why not?
The brand of football he plays is horrible.
But he's better
Really?
than Arteta. He does it
Yeah, he's better than Arteta.
He's
Really,
smart.
his brand of football is horrible. You didn't watch his Dortmund team?
Jesus.
He doesn't play a bad brand of football. He played decent football with Chelsea too. Again, I want somebody who's experienced at winning trophies. I'm not.
So you
taking
guys want purely experience. You want experience, don't you? So
Yeah.
so what else you guys got then? What about the other guys? What
For
you
me,
got?
I would say Don Carlo has always been my number one. I keep an eye on Roberto Mancini, Don Diego as well, Diego Simeone. And the fact that we got Andrea Berta as well, we know that will work because they've worked together before. A slight outside chance, but I'll have a look out for Hansi Flick. Not just
from Barca.
Yeah.
He's not leaving to come here.
Yeah, that's not realistic.
Well, to be honest, I don't believe for the size of Arsenal Football Club, I don't believe in realistic managers because if we're paying Mikel Arteta £15 million a year, we can get anyone. It just depends on the situation of the other managers. So, for example, Luis Enrique, if he's hell bent on not leaving PSG for no money, then money.
Do you know what? Not sorry to interrupt. You know what's crazy? You just mentioned $15 million pounds or whatever he gets a year, and I'm sure his contract does not say must win the Premiership, like I was saying earlier. That's crazy, because if it says must win the Premiership, he would have been sacked, wouldn't he? Because they would have had 6 years. So it doesn't say must win the Premiership.
I'm not disputing
that's
that.
crazy to have a contract, top four, 15 million a year. Beautiful.
Yeah, I'm not disputing that in the slightest, Theo. So my thing is with seeing everything that's unfolded, like, you know, Josh Kroenke at the end, bringing Berta in. And let's be honest, if Josh Kroenke really wanted to keep everything the same, exactly the same, the top four, the odd FA Cup and all that, the same thing we've been doing for so many years, then why bring Andrea Berta in? And not only that, through Berta, we got Michele in as well. If top four was literally the goal, now, like, obviously the last few years before that, 22, 23, yeah, it was top four and all of that shit. But if that's still the case now, right here, right now, why bring in Burr? We might as well have kept...
because that's the difference. Hey, but
they understand there has to be progress at some point.
That's the difference. Hey, my guys, that's the difference between Real Madrid, Barcelona and all their managers, the contract says must win the league or you sacked.
Right.
Like I'm saying again, I want to
but
repeat
you can
myself.
see why his contract.
Arteta doesn't. It says top four, so it's the hierarchy that you guys need to really get at.
I think they're changing. For me, from my perspective of what's happening, I think they're changing their minds about it.
Yeah, they bloody well need to. 6 years. Yeah, that's the
100%.
100%
agree with that.
They will only extend his contract, I believe, if we win the league. We win the league, he'll definitely be staying.
Yeah.
Whether I or anyone else likes it or not.
I actually think, right, and I'll you watch this. I hope you win the Champions League and the league. I want Arsenal to win those of the English teams. So, but if you win the FA Cup only, you watch, they'll keep him because it's a trophy and top four. Content. That's been the standards with Arsenal. Content with top four. That's it. That's their story. Trust me, it is. From the outside, that's what I see. You content with top four. Not you. I'm saying the board. Content with top four because
it's hard to argue against that, isn't it?
It makes the.
I disagree to a degree, but I kind of like it's hard to argue against that as well.
But it's true. I'm telling you, it's true because top four gets you in the Champions League. You always kind of go deep, and the club is turning over crazy money. That's what makes the club turn that money over. So they're kind of happy with that. You know, okay, we still at least commercially doing it. Yeah. But if he comes off the top four, that's it. Game over. Then
No, of course. Kroenke is always like top.
That's where they thinking. They thinking the commerce first, then the trophy.
Yeah, it's always
100%.
It's always been about the money. But here's the thing: like ultimately, like I said earlier, the only way that changes is down to the fan base. My biggest issue, other than the cartel board that we have and Josh Kroenke, is the fan base. If the fan base are content with what's been going on, and there's still a number of them out there that are, then yeah, it will continue as long as we're like in Champions League, FA Cup. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he's still here if we just win the FA Cup. But at the same time, you know, like I said earlier as well, let's say Arteta stays and we win the FA Cup. For argument's sake, let's say we win the FA Cup, we don't win the league, we don't win the Champions League, we win the FA Cup, he gets another season, whatever, extend their contract, whatever. Best believe we are 8th. Let's say we're 8th by Christmas time. Trust me, yeah, they will pull the trigger because, again, the Kroenkes care more about the Champions League money. League finish.
That's been the thing.
League finish than actually winning the trophies, which is why you got Ian Wright talking about, oh, it's the Tin Pot Cup, when he was the last player to win us the League Cup, along with like the Alan Smiths and Tony Adams, etc., etc. So it's a circus. It's an absolute circus. It's a farce. It's a joke. But you know, Berta changes things a bit, but not enough to where the mentality is completely changed at the football club. I agree with that. But at the same time, like, ultimately, the fans will get the manager out. Ultimately, the fans will get the manager out because these players that we've got now, Furioso, right? They are beyond spend. You think we're going to be Champions League? Like, you think we're going to be 4th, 3rd, and 2nd by Christmas next season? Yeah, it's going to be a rude awakening. It's not happening because City will get better, Liverpool will get better, Chelsea. I'm not convinced.
Chelsea, they got big problems. They have.
Was it Villa, depending on what they do? Newcastle, if they get rid of Eddie Howe, maybe they might be up there.
I think Arsenal are good to go for top four. I really, you always get that top four for now. You will. It's kind of been your thing. You haven't been on the top for a long time.
We won't get it next season under this man.
And that's how they dangle the carrot. That's how they dangle the carrot to this new generation of Arsenal fans, which, because you haven't won for 20-something years, therefore, there's the new generation. If you're 20-something, you're not used to seeing, winning the title. So what they tell them is, "Oh, it's this year. It's this year. Can't you see we carrot for ages? Can't you see we top four? We're close. We're close. No, it's this year." And and it keeps you keep you on the end of the.
But that's been the carrot for ages, though.
Going back, it still is
about the top four, and this is when the club deflated. The club deflated in the sort of late 09 or 10, 11. I don't know what you want to call that period exactly. When we stopped really fucking going for actual big trophies and started to accept that fourth or finishing in the top four was good enough. And I kind of I'm worried about, because this stadium extension and the likelihood of people saying and making excuses like, well, we're extending the stadium now. We've got a bit of money to spend on that. Well, maybe we should just keep Arteta. He could keep us stable through the stadium extension. I kind of foresee us going down this route. And I kind of foresee being stuck in this constant finesse that I feel like I've been in for the last 20 years. And it's especially if we don't win anything this season, it's kind of if we can win something this season, cool. It can kind of be a spike in that and it'll be a good thing. But if we don't win anything this season and they decide to keep him, and then they're extending the stadium, and then they're saying things like, "Oh, well, we should keep him because, keep it stable. He knows how to run the club." Fucking hell. Groundhog Day. Do you know what I mean? It's
who was it Shane? Who was it? I think it was on Shane's channel that they were talking about that if he wins the league, he's getting a 6-year extension.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
I think there was a combination
of his wages will have to go up from 15 million, won't they?
To 25 million.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, as it is amazing that what he's to get the wage. I mean, the only thing I can give him props for, to be fair, is for
best
him
agent,
to get
best
paid.
agent in the game. Best agent.
Yeah. He gets paid for what he does.
He's a snake oil salesman.
Because I'm telling you now, he's got that bloody top four guarantee. The Arsenal, they're happy with that top four. They really are.
Top four ain't guaranteed.
The owners are. The owners, not the fans, of course.
Yeah,
not.
yeah. The owners.
The owners are happy with that. They tap him on the back at the end of the year. Oh, don't worry, next year. Don't worry, Arteta. Next year, I'm telling you, they do.
But it's not.
There's nothing. There's no difference between finishing first and third.
No, 100%. But this is what I'm saying. It's not sustainable. If you think we're going to be top four next season, with the fact that our players have been run into the ground, with or without Arteta, you're having a laugh. You're having a laugh. No, with all due respect, for me, what we've seen this season, this is not sustainable. Yes, Josh Kroenke and the other Kroenkes, whatever, top four has always been the aim. Win the odd FA Cup here and there is a bonus, but top four's, I'm not disputing that. But the way we're playing, the quality of players that we have that have been ran into the ground, and most of them have been overhyped, overrated anyway, it's not going to last 5-6 years like it's already done. We're way past the cycle, which is why probably part of the reason why Kroenke brought Berta in the first place, because deep down he knows he's fucked up and it's not sustainable to keep the top four gimmick machine going.
That's the problem. That you've got caught in that. You've been caught up in that little trap with the top four thing, because the top four is actually seen by some fans as a bloody trophy, believe it or not.
That's a
we're going to be in the Champions League. What an adventure. We can away days and all that. Fans love that shit. They actually, I'm telling you now, if you ask some fans, and you ask them, do you want top four or do you want the FA Cup? They'll choose top four so they can have an away day in Barcelona. I'm telling you.
It's mid-club mentality, though, and it's exactly what these Arsenal...
This is it.
It's exactly what these Arsenal fans talk
They
about.
prefer the away day in Madrid than winning the FA Cup. They really do.
I mean, they think we're Aston Villa. Like, if you look at what Unai Emery has done with Aston Villa and the way that Aston Villa fans talk about Aston Villa, and then compare it to what a lot of the Arsenal fans, especially the Arteta stands, say about Arteta, what he has done for the club. Look how far he has brought us. Look what he took over, what he brought us to. Who could do a better job? Who could have come in and done a better job? If he leaves, we're going to plummet down the table. If he leaves, we're gonna. Which manager could come in and do a better job than that?
Got the best script writers going. They really have.
They want to. They want to frame it as being a mid-table club because that's how they sell their fucking money, and that's how they sell their products. Sorry, and make their money. And they want to try to frame. This is one of the big things that I'm against with Arsenal at the moment is they are trying to frame us as a mid-level club, and they are doing a very good job of it because so many people are fucking buying into this. This is why you are seeing so many top gooners accepting of what we're doing. Like we've said before, it's a very, very simple equation.
Because they can turn.
I would just say, just ask people the question: which other big club would keep a manager this long without winning anything like we have? Nobody. Exactly. So it is all the PRR process is PRing to the fucking devil's eyeballs. Anyway, sorry. Go on. What you were going to say? Sorry.
No, carry on, guys. Sorry, carry on, my friend.
You see, guys, this is the problem, right? I just feel like people these are the same fans that diss out Unai Emery. They always disrespect Emery's name. He put us 5th. We were so close to getting top 4. We finished 5th. He took us to the Europa League final. Funny enough, Arteta hasn't even got us to European final. Emery does. And funny enough, I forgot. Emery has better European pedigree than Arteta has. Yeah, it's not a debate. It's facts. Yeah, he's won the Europa League about 5 times, I think. Yeah, if he wins the Europa League with Aston Villa, this is his 3rd full season at Aston Villa. With the amount of players he's got, the amount of injuries he's had, given the amount of key players that they've had out, the likes of Tielemans out, Onana out, Kamara out. If he wins the Europa League and we don't, then that's embarrassment.
Right.
Imagine Aston Villa.
Hey guys, they sacked Emery for him coming 5th.
Yeah,
2 points off third.
Yeah, exactly. So that proves what I'm saying about Arteta, doesn't it? Because that is the goal, top 4. Emery wasn't quite doing it. That top 4, they got rid of him. Arteta stays in the top 4. They keep him. It's a joke. That's the module.
The other, 100%.
There's a module there.
It's you're right that it's a module. It's a multifaceted thing because if you look at it from here, the thing is with Emery got 5th. And yes, it was bad that we didn't qualify for the Champions League that year, and we allowed Spurs and Chelsea to jump us. And then what made it worse was that we got the doors blown off of us against Chelsea in the Europa League final. The bigger problem for Arsenal at the time for the ownership was Emery was asking for more money and was asking for better players all around in order to properly compete. Because Emery, listen,
they didn't get a chance to come.
They talk about his success at PSG. He wasn't PSG. This isn't the French league of 20 years ago where there was plenty of good teams. The situation is that he was at PSG, which is a team that should be walking the league every single year when you look at the money difference between PSG and the rest of the teams in France. He came in, he was sold a project that they were going to take him seriously, and it wasn't working out with the youth because, again, look at all the young players we invested in. We invested in Lucas Torreira. We invested in Matteo Guendouzi. We invested in Nicolas Pepe. We invested a decent amount of money into Emery. And what scared him was that Emery was in 8th place when we sacked him. Now, the table shows he was in 8th place, but he was only like 3 or 4 points off of 4th at the time when we sacked him. He wasn't that far off from the top 4. And the thing is, to what Rob was saying, Emery was still proven. Again, Sevilla was never that big of a team in Spain, if we're being quite honest. What Emery did for Sevilla as far as that club in Spain made them into the billion-dollar club that they are now. As far as the success in the Europa League and having them fighting amongst having them punching well above their weight limit. Because again, historically, Valencia, Atletico Madrid, and Bilbao, outside of just Barcelona and Madrid, are all bigger than Sevilla. So the thing was that he was trying to fight for getting more investment so that he could build a proper squad to fight with Arsenal, and they weren't trying to do it. The other thing for me is, to what your point is that the contract says top 4. Again, the part of that is the ownership module with Arsenal is they were much more concerned. There was much more concerned about their ownership of their NFL team because it makes way more money than Arsenal ever will. The NFL will always make more money than what the Premier League will. And that's the reason why that they've gone about it the way they've gone about it, as far as milking the fan base and basically dumbing down majority of the fan base to accept where they're at because of what they were doing in America, focusing on way more money. That's really the problem here. And the problem is that the other side of the fan base has gone to the lengths of accepting that and just really running forward. So it is what it is. It is what it is as far as that. However, where I disagree is, again, you look at that picture of Josh Kroenke looking at Arteta at the end of the League Cup game. That's not your same Josh Kroenke's face that is, always happy-go-lucky that Arsenal are just in the top 4 and just competing. He actually looks serious now that he wants to be winning trophies and wants to be dominant. And that's the reason why I think that this is changing amongst that. And again, I would be 100% in agreement with you, Furioso, if top 4 was still just the key. But if top 4 was all they were looking for, you don't bring in a guy like Andrea Berta to run your club if top 4 is all you're looking for. That's the difference to why.
Johnny, sorry to cut you off here. That's the point I've been making. If top 4 and the odd FA Cup, like we've been doing for so many years, basically the whole Emirates era, if that was the goal, Berta would not have been bought in.
He would never came.
Replace Edu, they would have hired internal solutions guys. Do you know what I'm saying? With Garlic, because Garlic was DOF of West Brom. Do you know what I'm saying? He's our CEO at the moment. So they could have easily hired from within if that was the target. Do you know what I'm saying? Keep things stable and sensible and all that bollocks. That's where I disagree as well. But that was ultimately my point. But not only that, like I was saying, Gianni, do you honestly believe that we are going to still be top 4, there or thereabouts next season, whether we win the league, FA Cup or not? With
We're nicking a league.
It's going to be a trajectory. We're going to fall. We're going to slip down that table. I don't think we'll slide down it, but we'll end up being 6th, 7th, maybe 8th by Christmas. And I'll trust me. I've been seeing the signs. I've been seeing these.
The signs look fairly obvious. The signs look fairly obvious, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
it's kind of like
this manager. Rob. With this manager, I don't see us still being 4th, 3rd, or 2nd by Christmas with the way things are going. I really don't. With the injuries, with everything, like if Arteta's still here, I don't see us being like challenging or even being nowhere near top by Christmas. I really don't see it. Because other teams are going to improve. They're not as bad as they were this season.
See, I hear it,
but
don't
understand this.
I think because of where the league is, I think we still will be in the top 4. Because here, I think
it depends on the rest of the league. Sorry to just sort of slightly cut in for a sec. Sorry, it depends on the rest of the league because this league has to fucking improve.
Exactly.
Jesus Christ!
Manchester United is doing well right now, but Manchester United is now going to get more football.
Yes,
what we know historically with Manchester United is when the Glazers get top 4 and they get in the Champions League, they won't put any more money into the team. So now you basically have to wait and see what the Glazers are going to do and what Ineos is going to do as far as with Manchester United with investment in the team. If they do the same thing that they've been used to, where they wait to get Champions League and then they don't put any money in, then we'll see what happens. Yeah, Mark, I hear what you're saying. There's a $300 million spending spree. I'll believe it when I see it, because they've been talking about big time money being invested in United, and the Glazers are never fucking competent to do it. So we'll see what happens with that. And even if there's with 300 million spending in the summer, you still need to get the players on board with one another, and they got to get used to playing multiple games of football a week now. So we'll see with what happens with Manchester United. There's no club with Manchester United, bro. Real Madrid's got more money than you guys.
Gianni, I think one of Arsenal's biggest mistakes was giving Edu the job. I think they gave him the job on a sentimental decision, because obviously he was an ex-player. There's 100%. No way he should. Hold on a minute. There's no way he should have got the job, because he had no experience in the job. He had only just retired, more or less. Okay. And maybe he had some Brazilian contact, whatever, and he was multilingual and he could speak a few languages because it all helps and whatever. But that's about it. You know, it was a big mistake. That job should be definitely someone experienced that's been around the block, knows all the agents, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? You got to be like an OG, basically. And he didn't have OG status. He was a novice. So when he comes to doing dealings and negotiating, he might have the Arsenal lure, but he hasn't have the nous. Yeah. And that's the problem. And only now they've rectified it by realized, and by getting this Bertie. But they took him a long time to get rid of Edu because he was an ex-player, so they didn't want to treat him badly. I'm telling you, that's what it is. I see it from the outside.
No,
the original owners are the.
There's no way he should have, for Arsenal. There's no way he should have got that job.
Neither should Arteta, to be honest. Like, both of them weren't qualified. Both of them had never managed, directed a football club. Either way, like hiring Arteta was probably the worst thing we've done since Arsene Wenger even bringing that bum to our football club.
And he was even a last-minute signing.
You've got Edu,
you know what I mean? It's crazy, isn't it? Like the way the universe works.
Well, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The way the universe works.
Hey guys, it's not a good recipe, is it? Edu is inexperienced in his role when he got it, and you got also Arteta, who's also not. He's also inexperienced.
He was a last-minute signing. That was my point. Yeah. He's a last-minute signing.
You got a novice. With the guy who's not
caused all this.
Yeah. No, 100%. But see, but here's the thing. To what your point was with saying that to what your point was with saying that Arteta's contract doesn't say top four. I agree with you, but here's now the change. The ownership wouldn't go out and sign a guy like Andrea Berta to take over the club and remove Edu from his position if they were still content with just top four. You don't go out and get a guy
they're changing their minds, of course.
Gianni, I think they actually got him. They replaced Edu, not because of, we need to start winning Prems and all that all of a sudden, which I believe you're trying to insinuate. I think it's because they realized Edu wasn't doing the job.
I tried to insinuate that because for Arsenal.
As simple as that. Edu wasn't doing the job. So they're trying to strengthen that area. Yeah, which they have, hopefully. But yeah, he was weak. Edu was weak. I know he was. I know his character. I've seen him talk many times or whatever. He's weak. He ain't a robust negotiator. Which you have to be.
Not only is he not a robust negotiator, but again, here's the thing. You know what I mean? Again, and that's my point to why I think Arsenal's I'm thinking that the Cronkies are getting more serious about trying to win, because you don't go out and try to go get somebody in order to win if you're going to do that. If the end of the game is to keep finessing the fans and only ask for top four, you could have just kept what's it called? Edu, and everybody would have been fine if that was the way of doing it. Again, and here, listen, full disclosure, I never wanted Edu at Arsenal. Me personally, once they sacked him, at AC Milan. I wanted Arsenal to go get Paolo Maldini and Ricky Masada because
but you know what they did, Gianni, right? Brazil, Paris Saint-Germain, and I think AC. Remember the Brazilian player Leonardo?
Yep.
Yeah, he played for his. He ended up also being an agent, one of these guys, whatever.
Yep.
So that's what Edu's trying to do. They kind of trying to follow on in his footsteps. But Edu was. He hasn't got Leonardo's connections. He hasn't.
No.
Leonardo's a total baller. Whereas even Edu as a player, he was a poor man's Gilberto. He was.
Well, that was it, and he liked his fish and chips as well. By
You know what I'm saying? He was a poor
like
man's Gilberto.
I've got. I went to university up at just up at Oakwood. Let's just say up above Oakwood, and there's a picture of Edu in the fish and chip shop eating obviously fish and chips as you would, and he's just kind of like looking at the camera and sort of winking and stuff. So that Edu likes his fish and chips, man. No, we can't. I got nothing to knock against Ede in like a sort of like football sense, football playing sense, but I mean he's made a few mistakes, let's say, over the preceding years.
I can't believe they appointed him. I remember at the time, it's like, what are you doing appointing this guy? He's only, that role. You have to be a guy who's been in the business and all that. You know all the strings. He didn't know any strings. Only he's only.
Those strings are attracted to.
He's only finished lacing his boots.
Real quick, guys. Real quick. Quaja, appreciate your time as always, my guy.
Up, man.
What do you got coming up on your channel?
Johnny, we could do another 6 hours, man. Come
on. I can go for pretty long with these damn things. But what's your prediction for the FA Cup?
Obviously, going back to your question, I would definitely rotate, of course, heavily. Most of it rotate. And obviously, Madueke is obviously out. So I think, obviously, Saka looks like he's going to be out. So he's only got Dauman, Martinelli, maybe. I don't know about these injuries, to be honest with you. I mean, I think today I saw on Instagram, I saw Rice, Saliba was walking into the training center. So I don't know if they're fully fit, but whatever it is, yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. What's your score prediction?
Oh.
Budget? I think you froze.
Hello.
7-0 is what Quaja was trying to say.
We all base out of the 7.
Okay. He's done.
Yeah, internet went out.
Yeah.
But yeah, listen, no, I'm in agreement. Like I said, I think the whole thing at the end of the day with Arsenal is you're 100% right. It's been nothing but a finesse job by the ownership. All they've been there is to just count their cash. And the fans, majority
happy with top 4. That's been the module. Happy with top 4. The club makes hella money. I've been there to the ground many times. I used to go to that pre-season tournament every year. I went to about 6 editions, so I got a feel of what's going on there. It's hella commerce. You know what I mean? They're queuing out on the streets to buy a shirt and stuff. It's crazy. So
they're queuing up to buy turning over
beautiful. Top 4. It's turning over beautifully.
Yep.
The pints are £7.80 at the time when I was going. They're hot and all frothy, and it's hella money they make. But obviously,
that's the thing. They see the balance. That's the thing.
Yeah,
they've
look
been able
at
to balance it very well.
Yeah, he's saying, this guy's because they're looking at it as like a supermarket business. As long as it's got that plus percentage, double figures, if it can be 11%, 12%, that championship money, getting the last 16-8. The TV money plus the Premiership money. Oh, you guys are balling for money. You're absolutely that balling. Yeah, you can even get Edu as your recruiter. Oh, I could not believe that. That was the biggest mistake Arsenal have made in the last since they got him. Edu. Are you having a laugh?
I
Having
don't
a
know.
laugh? Would you have?
That's a good debate to have, because I
Oh
honestly
yeah, it's the biggest mistake Arsenal have ever made
because
in the
you know,
last 6 years.
see,
Trust me,
I
it
don't
is.
know about that, because here's the thing. As much as I hate Adu, here's the problem with that argument. Arteta has been in the boardroom with Adu to go out and look at specific players. So it could be debated that if Adu here, let's just put it like this, right? I've always said the debate is not the debate of is Arteta a good manager. The debate is would Arteta even be where he's at if he didn't have $1 billion. So if you're giving Adu $1 billion and you make the stupid deals where you're overpaying for players, but if you had a better manager who had a better a better eye for talent, would Adu be really looked at as bad as he is because of the fact that it was Arteta? Like again, here, if you're telling me, if you're telling me that Adu,
hey Johnny, I'm going to let you not in on a secret. Don't tell anybody. Arteta's being pimped by the board because he's nice and sweet and he's a good boy. He's a very good boy, and he gets in the top 4. And when they get the sheet, the spreadsheet, that shit's showing plus, no minus, and that's it. He's a good boy. He's obedient. He does as he's told. He gets top 4. He tickles you with a carrot, and that shit makes a lot of money. So that's what I think anyway. It's a con job. It's a con job.
Of course, it's a con job. Arteta's the worst thing that's ever happened.
But the problem is, the only way he will go is if obviously the fans and all that pressure, or he has that bad season. But until he has that carrot around your nose, right, which he has right now. You know what I mean? At the minute you're gagging, aren't you? You about to win the Premier League and all that. So at the minute it's like they've got you where you want. You're on the hook, aren't you?
Yeah, but see, but again, like I said, if you but here again, say the PR isn't the way that it is, and Arsenal sign Ancelotti after he left Napoli. If Edu's the guy, if Ancelotti's there picking players with $1 billion as an overall thing, we're sitting here having a different conversation about Edu. That's why it comes back towards Arteta again.
Because terrible. Biggest mistake, trust me, that is crazy.
I would argue that it's a 50-50 coin toss between him and Arteta, because Arteta said on multiple times that he's had.
I'd say it's Arteta.
Both,
because that's
Edu was horrible, but Arteta,
because one is a novice. They both novices. They were both novices steering in big shit.
It was part of the plan, but Wenger brought him in. That was Wenger's worst ever decision, bringing Arteta in even as a player. Never mind him even remotely thinking of him as a head coach or manager. All of our biggest regrets and excuses, whatever the case may be, was Mikel Arteta, bro. Like, that guy is perfect for the longest for this ownership, for this cartel board that we have. He is tailor-made for this board. I agree with you on that 100%. He is tailor-made for this board. The problem
Arteta bullied Arteta. You can tell bullied Edu, because Edu ain't got no say, because Arteta knows Edu ain't got the experience. He's got that over him. You know, it's like the older, when someone someone is about it and he's a made man, so you respect him more, don't you? Whereas Arteta, when he looks at Edu, he ain't respecting him like that, because he a rookie. He just got his license. What are we talking about?
So who's going to respect Arteta that much, though?
Yeah, or vice versa. Yeah.
He's a flat track bully. I've been saying he's a flat track bully.
But that's why he wanted Edu. That's why he wanted Edu in that job or whatever.
Or to try to fuck him up. Yeah.
So he could manipulate him. So he could manipulate him.
The problem that
hasn't got that clout, though. That's the thing. He's just not got the clout. He's just not. But he wants to think that he's got the clout, and he's somehow managed to sort of like build all this up. Sorry to cut into this. I'll fuck off in a sec. But like, he's built all this fucking clout about this stuff, hasn't he? He's built that he has clout. Where did your clout come from, bruv? Fucking hell, you won an FA Cup. That was before you spent any money, and it was playing the old manager's system. The old manager that beat you in the Europa League twice, by the way, and then won the Europa League. Could you do that with Villarreal? Could you do that with Aston Villa? Answer me that question. Oh, probably not. Oh,
yeah, but the thing is, Rob, like the gig is up with Arteta. The gig is up because you can only wing it for so long. Like being a rookie, he's got us to where he's got us in terms of Champions League. He already won the FA. The FA Cup actually has kept him in this job longer.
100%.
If it wasn't the FA
Yes.
Cup, I think he would have been gone like a few
100%.
seasons ago, like even before the 22-23. Let's be real. COVID, that FA Cup has prolonged
the season he finished 8th
dramatically.
The season that he fucked up against Villarreal and finished 8th, had he not won the FA Cup, he'd have been sacked right after that.
100%. Because
He'd have been sacked right after that. He'd have been sacked right after that.
And he got us 15th. He was 15th at one point. He was.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, he was 15th. And we had Tommy Tukes sitting around in London, Chelsea, or whatever, wherever the fuck he was, twiddling his thumbs and that. But again, you cannot wing it in elite level football. As dire as modern football is, you cannot keep winging it and expect, even with this cartel that we've got upstairs, right, at our board, you can't keep winging it and expecting to get contract after contract, year after year. Because the truth of the matter is, the way I see it, Arteta's moving like he doesn't give a shit about going elsewhere to test himself as a manager. Like 6 years into your management, right? Yeah. Like with Arsene Wenger, it was towards the end. So I hear it. I understand what Arsene Wenger dug his heels in and all of that.
Awesome contract.
Like, on the footballing side, it makes no sense. But again, when you get that £15 million a year, when you have all that power, you know, going from head coach to manager, it's a dangerous game because it can either go unbelievably well or unbelievably shit. And the way I see it, it's gonna be the latter because this is not sustainable. It's not sustainable. Yes, the other teams that have been shit this season might be shit next season, but it's not gonna last. Man City ain't gonna be as shit as they were this season. Man United will have to see. I think Liverpool will be better. You know, I'm sure there'll be one or two other teams that will cause a shock. Not to me, but
a lot of teams need a lot of rectifying also still though. You know, like even Liverpool, yeah, they've got great players and whatever, but they got their shit together.
I think if Liverpool's getting if they're getting Xabi Alonso as the manager, I don't think it's going to take Liverpool that long to turn it around. The only question that's going to be for Liverpool in that is what players are going to go along with the program on how things may change. See, for me, if I'm Xabi Alonso coming into this season, if you're going to go with your 3-4-3, you have to put Wirtz as the number 10 and have both Ekitike and Isak as the striker, as dual strikers next year. The question then becomes, what do you do with Szoboszlai? Because he's been your best player this year. Szoboszlai, leading up to what he's done, to what got him the big move to Liverpool, was he was able to play in that rotationary 4-2-2-2 that Leipzig has historically played, and he's more so coming off the left as like a left side number 10 with the formation they played. So if you go down the same path of putting him on the left-hand side like it was at Leipzig to fit him in, and you go Szoboszlai, McAllister, Gravenberch, and Frimpong, at that point, you have a very good offense to go forward. The question is defensively, how do you handle it with the back line of three? Because Konate's been dog shit this year. Virgil van Dijk has not been up to par to what he has been in the past. So, and then you're gonna need another center back to add to that. So for me, Liverpool's in question. They're talking about Enzo Maresca. They're talking about Enzo Maresca is going to take over Manchester City. I'm sorry. If Enzo Maresca is the guy to take over City, I don't think City's going to be there as they were last year.
I think City now, as soon as Pep leaves, will be a natural decline. There cannot be an increase because he's already reached heights. You know what I'm saying? They will decline. They will. Even with all that money, you still need the guy to control those egos.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
it will depend on who they get in.
Yeah.
It will depend on who they
Ancelotti, you can buy all these players, but how are you going to control the egos? You need the staff to control. Like Ancelotti went to Real Madrid because there's Ronaldo there, there's Zidane's there, there's all these crazy ass goats. So you need an Ancelotti there because of
It takes a special kind of diplomat to do.
Yeah, like Mourinho's and all them guys, And the ones that weren't, they failed there. They got rid of them quick, like Lopetegui's and Carlos
Difficult to
Queiroz.
handle these guys. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, Carlos Queiroz, yeah. But you get what I mean, don't you? About you need that big personality, don't you?
Yeah, 100%. And that's why I think that the way with City is looking at a guy like Maresca, I don't see it working. That's why I don't understand why.
I don't want Maresca anywhere near City.
Again, that I agree. I think City should be looking for another. They should be looking for another top manager as well. Like here, City should be in the running for Ancelotti as well. Once the World Cup is over, City should be looking at Ancelotti just as much, in my personal opinion, because, like you said, you need a manager who's going to come in to command that locker room. Otherwise, you get the same scenario here. You get the same scenario as what Chelsea used to be. The only thing that Chelsea had when they had their player power and forcing managers out, they still had the foundation with Drogba, Lampard, and Terry and others to hold everybody together, still hold them accountable, and go out and win. That's why they racked up so many trophies in that time frame under Roman Abramovich. So for me,
because they're managers like trainers, managers within the team. The bosses within the team. I know what you mean. Like
You said it perfectly. It's like you need a leader.
Yeah,
like the players.
Leader of men.
Someone needs to lead the players.
They had loads of leaders in the team. That's it. Mourinho did pick a team with leaders. That was one of his. He was lucky with, because that team had been with Ruud Gullit, I think, or whatever. But
that was the Ruud Gullit, Craig Burley, Zola, Vialli.
You need those like AC Milan back. You had like Rijkaard, Baresi, all these guys that became managers. So you can see why they were leaders. Lampard manager, John Terry. They do become managers if you notice. A lot of them.
I thought bounce guys in it. Do you know what I'm saying? I just thought, Like, it's been a great conversation. Big up Johnny for having me on. Big up James.
Always.
Big up Rob.
See you later, mate.
See you later, Purist. Take care of yourselves. All the best.
Matt, what's your prediction for Saturday?
I'd say 2-1 Arsenal. It's going to be close. I believe we'll concede. But I think we'll just about get over the line. We'll probably limp over the line. Like Southampton, they're going to be mad up for it. Like, the weather might be great, it might be shit. Either way, like I see it being a Mansfield, 2.0, mate, just higher quality. So I'm not looking forward to the game. It's in the evening, so we might play a little bit better than Mansfield because historically Arsenal don't play well with early kickoffs. Like Mansfield was like what was it, like a 12:30 kickoff or something like that?
The early game.
Yeah, so this one's 8 o'clock UK time, so it's I think we'll play a little bit better, but it is what it is. And then Bournemouth, we better fucking win that game.
Yeah.
We better win both of them games, because if not, I won't lose my shit. So it is what it is. But take care, guys. All the best, peace and love, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.
Peace,
mate.
Peace.
Yeah, I'm going to bounce as well. We're playing at the weekend in the FA Cup. We're playing against Liverpool. I'm going to go 2-1 City, even though I don't feel all that great about it. But I'm going to go with that. And I'm going to tell you this also, that there's going to be no English teams in the semifinal of Champions League, because PSG is going to beat the whatever out of Liverpool. And I'm going to be honest, I don't see Arsenal getting past Sporting.
What team do you support, Cheeky?
Manchester City.
Are you Man City fan, are you? I didn't know that. Okay.
Chico's been here for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I didn't know you was Man. I didn't know you was Man City. I actually thought you were Arsenal.
No, God, no.
But
Yeah,
guys,
we all
look,
talk about Arsenal.
how
The
did
only
you
time I
guys
chip in is
become?
if Gianni asked me a City question or just any other general knowledge. So,
How did you guys become a fan of your team? For instance, was it a player or what? Family? What was it?
For me, it was in 1990 Christmas, 1993. My dad's side of the family basically are Sheffield Wednesday fans. So
Oh.
Arsenal beat Sheffield Wednesday in both the FA Cup and League Cup in 1993.
Why were they
So
Wednesday fans? Were they from England? Wednesday,
yeah, they're
Sheffield.
from Grenoside, which is in West Yorkshire, which is kind of West South Yorkshire, and Wednesday Sheffield is South Yorkshire a little bit, so it's a bit of a pull down.
Yeah, I went to see Sheffield Wednesday Benfica. Not what was it, about just under 10 years ago in a friendly. Yeah, the stadium was already Hillsborough, wasn't it? It was already starting to drop down, and then the new owners had taken over the. I think they from the Asian of some sort. I don't know, Asian, I don't know, Malaysian or whatever. And they've had a huge decline on the Sheffield Wednesday. Bless them.
Yeah,
Big
no,
club.
it's
They're
a massive
massive
shame.
club. They're a massive club, though. As in,
It's a humongously supported club.
they're one of them clubs. If they're doing well, they'll pack in their 50,000, 40,000 easy,
100%.
easily. It's one of those. But anyway, but both clubs are struggling. That the City Sheffield's been struggling, since for a long time, decades now.
No, you're fully correct. Yeah,
It's the industry and everything's also declined. You see, it was the steel industry there, wasn't it? It was where the British steel, is known for, and all cutlery. And the score, don't you? British.
Sheffield is the way.
So the industry declined there, and so does the football teams naturally.
That's kind of how I ended up supporting Arsenal anyway. So I saw Stephen Morrow score a fucking flying kick as my first ever Arsenal goal. So that's actually quite interesting. It's like, guys, what is your first ever Arsenal goal? I suppose.
That's
for me,
remember
Stephen Morrow scoring a fucking flying kick. I don't know about you, Johnny. I don't know about Chike. I don't know about James or anyone.
Well, I'm going to say this because I'm going to bounce in a little. I'm going to bounce after I say this. So my first City goal was Yaya Toure in the FA Cup against Man United in 2011.
Oh, you already know that's it. Yeah.
My favorite African player. Anyway, big up, guys. Thank you, Gianni, for having me on, and let's go City. And I love the Yankee shirt, by the way.
I got the black Yankee hat on.
Wow. And I got the classic Yankees hat. Anyway, big up, guys.
What are you getting to? How'd you get into it?
Well, I'm Napoli first. First, but
how'd you get into Napoli then?
Family. All my family's from there.
Family, yeah, that's for real, isn't it?
That was mandatory. I mean,
how's the Bosnian moonshine going, by the way?
We still got it.
Oh,
we still got it.
Finished it by now.
No, there's like a couple drops left. I had a couple shots after the stream yesterday because I was off still after that fucking.
It's kind of like, that was a couple of days ago. Like, come on.
No, that stuff's powerful, man. That should have you all fucked.
Sorry, I used to live with. So when I did flat shares, I did a house share with some a couple of Bulgarians. So it was like just a guy and a girl and all that kind of stuff. And like they brought me some Bulgarian brandy. Like this brought me some Bulgarian sort of like, this is kind of like what we've moonshined out of the basement brandy. Mm-hmm. They were like, oh yeah, well, you say you're an English person. You say you can take drink. Well, why don't you try and drink this then? And they kind of like sort of challenged me to this brandy. And it was easy as fuck, man. It was really, really easy. Like, I'm not trying to be like, oh, I'm so great or it, but it really wasn't a challenge. Like, it's just kind of like, it was very flat. Like, because I expected kind of like, I don't know, some kind of like hit at some point. Like, but there was nothing. It was just very, very flat. it was like very smooth sort of thing. So it's like, well, you're trying to challenge me with this smooth thing, you crazy people. Come on.
No, no, that stuff. I've gotten in trouble on a couple of occasions with that shit. So I gotta be easy. No, what got it? So like, I got into Arsenal around I started getting into Arsenal around 04. After like, so I missed it. It would be the 04-05 season. So I missed the Invincibles, but Arsenal played great football. Arsenal played great, attractive, open attacking football that I like to watch. And I don't know. It was just really for me. It was Thierry Henry was the guy that grabbed me, as well as Dennis Bergkamp, because Bergkamp was not that good in Italy at Inter, and he came to Arsenal and turned it right around and was one of the best players that I had ever seen. What sold it for me was when they gave Juventus that ass kicking in the Champions League. Me being a Napoli fan, being a Napoli fan and hate Juventus, that's what sold me on Arsenal. So that's what really got me sold on to Arsenal to become an Arsenal fan.
Which year was that?
That was what was it? On the road to the Champions League in 06 is when we beat Juve. I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Wasn't it the quarterfinals because we played Villarreal in the semi?
Which year?
2006.
Oh, 2006. In what?
I can't remember the Arsenal.
2005, 2006. I know we beat them. Arsenal beat Juve 2-0.
Oh, Villarreal, yeah, in the semi-final. Yeah.
No. Juve. 2005, 2006. Arsenal beat Juventus 2-0 in the Champions League.
Was that?
I know that.
Was it?
Yeah, I think there were 2 red cards on Juventus. I want to say it was Camoranesi, and I want to say it might have been Jonathan Zabina. And it was towards like the tail end of the game. This was when they were still playing at Highbury. Yeah, quarterfinals, they knocked out Juventus in 06. And I want to say it was Fabregas around the 35th minute and Henry around the 70th minute were the 2 goals in that game in the quarterfinals. And when they played Juventus off the park, and that was, even though that was when Juventus was game fixing and everything, Juventus had a great team and they made Juventus look like absolute dog shit. So that was when I got into what sold me on Arsenal to be my team. Plus, my grandmother, when she divorced my grandfather, she married an Englishman from West London, and he was a massive Chelsea fan. And his 3 boys, 2 of them are Chelsea fans, 1 of them's a United fan. And I just decided to fuck with all of them and say, fuck it, I'm going to be an Arsenal fan to give us some a bigger, broader scope for the English teams. But that's
kind of what I did as well. It's kind of just sort of like trying to like mess around with my sort of like cousins and all that kind of stuff.
But for you, Gianni, it would have been easy. It would have been easier for you at the time to go Chelsea, wouldn't it? Because there was more Italians going to Chelsea. But fair play to you, you wasn't swayed because of that. You know what I mean?
I liked Chelsea because of Zola, because Zola was with Napoli,
and all them guys going there. So you could have gone Chelsea, couldn't you, fan?
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So fair play to you for seeing past that and saying no, I like that. Arsenal's balling or whatever you're saying. Yeah, so yeah.
That's the kind of thing. It's kind of like, this is like what we're saying about like kind of when people sort of say, okay, so when Arteta wins this league, you don't want to get rid of it. You want to get rid of him, but why would you want to get rid of him? Because we don't see him doing anything else beyond that. This is kind of like, for me, it's kind of like we are quite lucky to be getting away with this potentially with him winning the league this season. anything else is going to be kind of like a bonus. And like, obviously, people will disagree with that, and that's okay. I'm not really kind of like messing about with that and all that kind of stuff. But like, yeah, there's a lot of evidence to suggest that we are kind of correct about this. And if he wins this league this season, I don't see any reason why you wouldn't want him to leave, because it's kind of like, well, how can you convince me that in the next sort of like 4, 5, 6, 7 years or whatever it is, you're going to win more titles, you're going to win more trophies? Because we haven't done that. But because our standards are much more lower now, we're okay with that. Apparently, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's the thing why I always say we're the only team in the big three across all the big three in the different leagues that operates like this. This is the only team that does it. Again, you can't imagine Furioso. Again, like I said, you're a Benfica fan. Would Benfica fans tolerate somebody being there for 6 years and not winning shit?
Nah, no, Benfica ain't happening. No,
Exactly.
it's not
I don't
happening.
even think Porto would allow that. Would Porto allow that?
Yeah, no, none of the big teams do. They don't go 6 years. You can't as a manager, no chance. They'll turn him over after 2 years. 2 years, definitely Benfica and Porto. After 2 years, 1 year, you got to go because of that. You have to win the title. Like I said, the manager's contract does say must win the league.
Yep.
Must win the league. Yeah, you can't come second, sort of thing. It's a major failure, of course.
Yep.
So so Arsenal, like we've said already, Arsenal does not say must win the league. It does not.
Nope. We'll see.
Or they would have sacked Arteta, wouldn't they? Because they had 6 years to do it.
Yep.
You know,
100%.
that's the proof. The proof is in the pudding, there, my friends. You can see it.
Oh, 100%.
It's there, isn't it?
Tim, what sold you on Arsenal?
Well, because of Henry. Because I watched him, you know, when he signed for Arsenal. I said to my dad, I like Henry. He's at Arsenal. So I told him I'm becoming an Arsenal fan, and he wasn't happy with it.
Is your dad a United fan?
No, a City fan.
Oh, really? Is he an old school City fan?
Yeah.
Wow. Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him. There's not a lot of City fans before the money came rolling in. A lot of the City fans came after that.
Yeah, Henry was my best player at Arsenal. He had the skills and the goal scoring and that.
Yeah,
he was pretty awesome. He was.
Yeah,
he was awesome.
The other guy I loved at Arsenal too at that time in 06 was that Kleb. I love
yeah.
Kleb was so good at dribbling, so silky smooth on the ball.
He was good left foot he had on him, left foot.
Yeah, he was shit when he went to Barcelona. He never lived up to the hype, but he was a good fucking player with Arsenal, man. He was a good fucking player.
He suited that system, and also the players. He played well with us. Once you go to the Barca, it's that ego thing once again.
Yep.
That sort of bond and all that. It's like it's different, isn't it? The dressing room and shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know it is.
Yep, 100%.
Superstar. It's the superstar status thing, isn't it? The bond is, you got it. It's different.
Yeah.
It's
yeah. 100%.
Yeah, he was a useful player. He could play anywhere in the midfield, couldn't he?
He could play. Kleb was good defensively.
Not
defensively. Kleb was good at being a play creator and dribbling. I don't think he could have done anything else either than that. What I didn't think, I think the reason why he didn't work out at Barca was because he couldn't express himself exactly the way he wanted because of the other midfielders that were better than him that were there. And he was taking away a little bit from them. And him being pushed down the pecking order from where he was at Arsenal to where he realistically was at Barca when he went there, I think is the reason why he didn't work out over there, in my personal opinion. But I think he was one of my favorite players. And then I was always a fan of Lucas Podolski too, and I was ecstatic when he went to Arsenal. I was pissed that
Podolski.
And we got Lucas Podolski, and then we were letting go of Van Persie because I was like, Podolski, Van Persie combination up top with Cazorla coming in as well. Arsenal's got a decent team, and then Arsenal being Arsenal with the bullshit, they sold Van Persie. Yep.
Why did they get rid of Van Persie? He was quality, Van Persie.
He wanted out. He wanted out for exactly the same thing. For exactly the same thing of what you said. The only top four. There wasn't the ambition. There wasn't the ambition from Arsenal to go on and win. He wanted to win.
I had a conversation with him, and then the conversation was, we don't really have like any ambition to win anything. And then he was like, okay, bye then. And then he went and won something.
Van Persie is one of those last old school ballers for me. You know, you don't make him anymore. Van Persie was like one of the last generation of like ballers. You know, made old school style, not like they make them now. You know.
Yep.
Prefabricated crap.
Well, I mean that's just the difference in football, anyways. Now, like I said, the big difference in football now is the biggest difference in football now is it's more pushed to be an athlete first before it is to be a footballer. You know, guys who weren't the best athletes 15, 20 years ago could still be top footballers because of their ability on the ball. These guys' ability on the ball ain't as good as what everybody thinks it is. Like Vinicius Jr. Vinicius Jr. isn't what people think he is. They try to put him on the same level as like a Ronaldinho. He ain't even fucking close.
Nah, he's a speed merchant.
Exactly.
He's a speed merchant.
And that's what I mean. The speed merchants like that is the reason why.
Speedy.
Yeah, exactly. And as soon as the pace goes, he doesn't have the technical ability to do what he was doing. Whereas other guys had the technical ability to move around and get around. I mean, again,
he has got crazy acceleration, the bugger, and that shit's a hell of a skill to have, a natural skill, isn't it?
It is.
With him and Mbappe, that shit's bloody dynamite. It really is.
Yeah, but see, like Mbappe's got. He doesn't get enough credit. Mbappe does have a lot more technical ability than a lot of these other players with the speed. He does have a lot more technical ability. You've seen it at certain times. He just doesn't use it as much as I think he should. Vinny, I don't think Vinny has the technical capability because look at when Real Madrid couldn't beat City when Kyle Walker was there. As soon as you have somebody with the same pace as Vinicius, he was wiped out of the game. Because if he can't get it with the pace, his technical ability isn't at the level for him to get around people. Whereas, like a Ronaldinho, while Ronaldinho was losing his pace when he was at Milan, he was still dribbling the fuck out of people in the Champions League when it mattered. Vinny can't do that. That's the reason why.
It's just basic skill, isn't it? Like dribbling is the basic skill, and it's kind of like, if you can't dribble, then we kind of have to have a little bit of a conversation. It's kind of like, I mean, like for me and my kind of like ability at football, I was kind of like a weird player because I was kind of like a sort of Gilberto Silva, but I could cross the ball, and I could cross the ball because like my parents had a little bit of patch of land, and I was able to kind of like play around with that patch of land, and there was like a sort of wall, kind of like quite high wall at one side of the land, and I could just sort of kick the ball and then like control the ball and then kick the ball back and control it. So I was able to kind of like kick the ball high is what I'm trying to say. So basically, yeah. So that aside, I mean, like I don't know, man. Like seriously, I'm very, very tired of us having to deal week in, week out with these Arteta people who are just kind of like,
I'll tell you what.
You cannot criticize this man because he is the most amazing human we have ever fucking dealt with.
But it looks like football now in general, not just Arsenal, whatever, is going to set piece, technical, drawing boards, American football managers looking at boards and and moves and what for set pieces. And they even said the World Cup will be a set piece World Cup. You're going to have all the teams going crazy on the corner kicks. Everyone's at it now. It's the go-to thing. We're seeing it in the Premiership because everybody watches the Premiership, don't they? It's the biggest, viewership, and that's what they're going to be copying.
Greatest
And
league in
that's
the
what
world.
they're saying. The World Cup will be set piece merchant. I don't think we're going to see good stuff. We're not. It's going to be like
I think this World Cup's going to be shit.
I think
so.
Without trying to be negative or anything, it's also the style, the style of the teams, the way they're playing. Also, there's Spain, this and whatever, but a lot of the teams are going to go for England, for instance, set piece. I watched them against Japan. They got outballed. They couldn't control the ball. They were just saying they got Maguire and Dan Burn on at the end to try and score with set pieces, for God's sake. Crazy. England bringing on Dan Burn and Maguire at the end for corners and set pieces. Come on.
England isn't going to win anything, 100%.
It's embarrassing. So that's what's on display by the looks of it. We'll have to see, because Brazil aren't balling. I mean, they are. I wish there was, but they're not.
Yeah.
They're not as good, are they? I know they got Ancelotti, but still, I mean, he hasn't got the Brazil aren't as good on there. The defense is rubbish too. Brazil's defense.
And everyone's saying, "Oh, Martinelli scored for Brazil." That means that Martinelli's an amazing player. This is the sort of level we're at with our wonderful fan base.
Yep. No, 100%. But listen, guys, I'm gonna end the stream here today. Real quick before we end, I'll go around. What's your guys' prediction for this FA Cup game against Southampton? Jim, what do you think is going to happen in this game?
To be honest, I'm not confident about this game. Because we're not won at St. Mary's since I can't remember. The last time we won at St. Mary's. I think we're going to win like 1-0 or something.
1-0?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think, Rob?
I've said 2-1 loads, so I'll just go with 2-1. I think we'll struggle a little bit. I think they're going to really bite into us. They're going to really kind of like have a go at us, but I think we should have enough, surely.
Black Crow, I hope you're wrong. We cannot afford to be playing to extra time and going to penalties.
We ain't playing for fucking penalties, man. Come on.
If we go to penalties against Southampton, I'll fucking lose my shit. I'll lose my shit. Furioso, are you watching the game? And if you are,
of course I'm watching the game. I watched all the FA Cup games. I love football. Do you know what I mean? I watch as much football as I can, my friend. But I'm going Arsenal 2-0. And Jesus and the new kid superstar. What's his name?
Dowman,
2-0. That's why I'm going. I think them two will start, them two players. So I think they will.
I would like it. I would like it.
But yeah, nice one for letting me on, Gianni. And good luck to Arsenal, and hope you guys do it.
Yeah. And I'll predict right now. I think Napoli wins 2-1 against Milan on Monday.
Are you playing Milan? Are you? Is it Monday?
We play Milan on Monday at, I think it'll be 7:45 or 8:45.
The big one. Yeah, I'll be watching that. That's a big one. That is.
And right before us is Roma Inter. And if Roma beat Inter and Napoli win, we'll be within 6 points. 5, 6.
I'll tell you what, Gianni, just quickly. Inter's Achilles heel is the manager.
100%.
The manager, the Romanian guy. Is it Chivu guy?
Kivu.
I remember him as a player. Everything. He ain't that guy. They've stepped down there, and that's where they've opened the door for you guys, if you can do it, and that's why AC Milan's above them, I think.
Yep. No, AC Milan's behind them too. AC Milan.
Chivu's rubbish.
He is.
He ain't no Inter manager. No chance. He's worse than bloody Arteta. You know he is, dude. You know he is.
I agree with that one. I agree with that one, man.
Oh, that's crazy. Inter club like that. That was a crazy. As soon as they got him, Gianni, I was like,
Exactly.
No, you just
I said-
know, don't you? Because I know Inter's standards. They are, they high as a kite. Anyway, see you later, guys. Nice one.
Big up,
Yeah,
guys.
peace.
Big up,
peace.
guys. Appreciate everybody in the chat that stopped by for the conversation. And yeah, we will be back possibly tomorrow with another live stream. If not tomorrow, then we will definitely see you guys Tuesday with the reactions from the reactions for the weekend. Hope everybody has a good night. And like I said, if I don't see you before then, I hope everybody has a great weekend. Big up to everybody.
Okay.